whatever target you set. But with it being a must, it is amazing what the human body can do. Like, unbelievable. Right? We talked a little bit about programming our subconscious brain. Once you tell it it's a must, it is unbelievable what the human body can achieve. You'll be asleep and it'll be working it out in the background when it's a must. But when it's a maybe or a should, it's got so many other priorities it's dealing with, it doesn't even get near it. Does this make some sense by show of hands? Now, I'm not here to tell you what your must should be. It might be right now in your life that health is the most important thing, and that should be your must. It might be your relationship's in a mess, and you really ought to be making that a must, and you're not, and you need to go make that a must, right? I'm not here to tell you what your must should be, but what I do want to tell you is if you want to get financially free and you don't make this a must, it isn't going to happen. It isn't going to happen. I want to be honest with you, right? You've got to make it a must. By the way, interesting question. If you don't show up to work and you've got a job, what happens? What happens, right? You get sacked, right? You might get a warning once, but you get sacked. Who on here, this is a rhetorical question, you don't need to answer it, but you can if you want. Who on here needs sacking currently from their financial freedom job? Yeah? Is that starting to land? Who needs sacking? Who's not been turning up to work for their financial... I would argue that getting financially free, that job, 3 or 5 hours a week, whatever you decide to put into it, is more important than the core job you do turn up to. You may or may not agree, but I'd argue it's more important. But many of you probably ought to be sacked because you never show up, or you don't show up often or consistently enough. Yeah? Does this make some sense by show of hands thing? Yeah? So it's your choice, it's your life. I'm just here to plant some seeds, but you might want to write some actions down, or you might want to make some commitments to yourself, or you might want to decide what some of your musts are going to be, right? Because it changes everything. Changes everything. Now, I've got another question I want to ask you, okay? Who on here, please be totally honest with me, and ideally put as many cameras on as you can. Get your cameras on so I can see you. Who on here, right, if you're being really, really honest and truthful with me, right, who on here, in your life is relatively comfortable? What I mean by that is, right, you're probably living in the house you thought you'd live in, things are going okay or well with your spouse or partner, the kids are doing okay, you're doing the kind of job you thought you'd do, you're relatively comfortable, life is comfortable. So just put your hand up high if that's you, and keep it up for a moment if that's you, just so I can have a look through and a look around. So I'm probably seeing about 70–80% of the room, okay? So thank you for your honesty with that. Here's what I want you to know. Comfort is the enemy of great. Comfort is the enemy of great. In fact, write it down. Comfort is the enemy of world class. When Mo Farah wins Olympic gold twice in 2012, he wasn't comfortable. He hadn't been for many years. He'd been uncomfortable, driving himself forward to win Olympic gold. Any athlete at the top of the game is permanently uncomfortable. Does this make some sense by show of hands? Right? Comfort is the enemy of world class. You don't get to be world class when you're comfortable. I love it when I have a hungry client. When someone joins one of my programs and they are hungry, when they're not earning what they thought they'd be earning and they're not happy with where their life is, do you know what happens? I'll say, do these 10 steps, boom, 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 boom. And do you know what they do? All 10 of them. And guess what? They get the result, because I've got systems and processes and they work. But do you know what comfortable people do? They go, oh, 10 steps, brilliant. Don't really fancy doing step number 3, it feels a bit uncomfortable. Don't really fancy step 6, feels a bit... Step 9 looks a bit uncomfortable as well. I'll do the rest, right? Have you ever tried making a cake where there's 10 steps to make the cake and you avoid 3 of the steps? Right? What kind of cake are you going to get? Yeah, don't put 3 ingredients in, right? It's not going to be a cake that you want to eat, is it? Then comfortable people wonder why they're not getting the cake. Because they miss steps out, because they make them uncomfortable, okay? This is so important. Let me help this land for you, okay? So, as a human being, right, when you're younger, you have a massive comfort zone. I'll give you an example. My youngest son, Oscar, like I said, he's 8 now, but when he was younger, let's say 3 or 4, he could be happily playing in the playroom, and we'd walk in and go, Oscar, we're going out. He'd go, where are we going? We're going to the garden centre, right? He didn't know if the garden centre was 3 minutes away, 15 minutes away, 3 hours away, or a day away. He didn't know. Now, I've picked a bad example because he did with that. He loves it. But he didn't know, right? But he'd just get up and go, okay, and he'd come. So when you're younger, you have a massive comfort zone because you're not in control of things. You go with the flow and you feel comfortable, okay? Now, just out of interest, by the way, just to do a check-in, who on this call was once 3 or 4 years old? Just by show of hands, if that was you once upon a time. Interesting, okay. So you've all got the ability to have a massive comfort zone, right? But here's what happens as we get older, right? Through our childhood, we try something out, don't particularly enjoy it. Try this out, don't particularly enjoy it. Decide we don't enjoy that, even though we haven't tried it out, etc., etc. And you end up with what I'm going to draw on here as a comfort zone, right? You end up, let's say that this is your comfort zone here, okay? And what you do, you spend the majority of your time living here in the middle, and you might go there, and you might go there, and you might go there. And occasionally, you go to the edge of your comfort zone, you go, I'm a bit uncomfortable doing this, and you go back, right? And you spend some more time here, and then occasionally you might go out here, and you go, oh, it's not very comfortable out there. Most people live here, right? And then as you get older, what happens as you get older? People say things like, I'm set in my ways, right? What you mean by set in my ways is my comfort zone has shrunk, right? I definitely know that I only like to spend my time here, right? And then as you get older again, I'm going to just change my, right? Then as you get older again, you end up going into a nursing home, don't you? And this is where you spend your time, right? And then in the middle there, you die. You die. That's the map. That's what happens for the majority of people in the UK, in the first world, and in fact right across the world. As they get older, through the years, their comfort zone shrinks and goes in an inward direction. Now, let me ask you a question, right? If this is your comfort zone currently, right, and this is you, right, and you're doing whatever you're doing, where does all the magic happen? Where does all the magic happen? Outside your comfort zone, isn't it? The first time you have a newborn baby and you hold it in your arms and you're taking it home and you're terrified, will I be able to look after it? I'm responsible for this human now. What am I going to do? The first time you say to someone, I love you, and you hope and pray with all your might that they'll say it back to you, right? It's off the chart up here, isn't it? I can't even draw it right off the chart. The first time you buy an investment property, right off the chart at the top there, right? The first time you start a new career or do something new. All outside your comfort zone. Where the magic happens is outside your comfort zone. Does this make sense by show of hands? But we're comfortable and we don't want to go outside our comfort zone. So Aran Curry's going to tell us for 2 days that we can make another 50 grand a year in the next 2 years. He's going to tell us that that means in 5 years you can make 250 grand, and in 10 years you can make 1 million. And logically, you'll see the steps, and logically, you'll see that's doable. And logically, you'll go, I'd like a bit of that. Even a little bit emotionally, you'd go, I like a bit of that. But then your comfortable brain goes, I know, but we're going to have to get a bit uncomfortable, aren't we? We're going to have to step outside our comfort zone to do that. Don't fancy that. Let's stay where we are. It's safe here. It's warm here. Does this make some sense by show of hands, Steve? So we need to be looking to stretch our comfort zone at all times, okay? Who'd love a life with no problems in it whatsoever, all problems gone? Just by show of hands if you'd love that. Put your hand up high so I can see it. Right, keep your hand up. Just so you know, keep it up. The only way to have no problems is to be dead. To be dead. So you're literally wishing to be dead. Seriously? You don't want to wish for no problems. Problems are what you cut your teeth on. Problems are what grow you. Problems are what turn you into the human you were born to be, to bat at the highest level. You want to wish for bigger and better problems. Yeah? When you get really wealthy or you're really successful, when you've got 200 properties and COVID hits, you're worried that 200 tenants might not pay you instead of the 3 that you've got, or the 1 you've got, or the none you've got. When you've got a business right, with 60 people in it, you're worried about paying 60 people every month, or 20 if you've got a business with 20, or if you don't have a business, none. I want you to wish for bigger and better problems because they're what you cut your teeth on, they're what grow you. I don't mean disastrous problems, I don't mean things that trip you up, right? But you get outside your comfort zone, you experience something new, a problem, right? You learn from it. You might mess it up and learn, and you do it right next time. At least you've learned something. Or you don't mess it up and your comfort zone grows and you feel a lot better. But it all starts by stepping out. Stepping out. You didn't get the love of your life without stepping out and taking some risks. You didn't get the career you've got without stepping out. You didn't get to live in the house that you might love living in now without stepping out and taking some risks along the way. But now you've got older and more set in your ways. I'm talking to you 20-year-olds as well as you 50-year-olds, right? Now you've got to that place, you're less used to stepping out. Okay. Is this useful so far this morning by show of hands, team? Okay, good. I could talk about this for days. All these different bits. But they're affecting everything in your life. They're affecting absolutely everything. Right? And we need to be stepping out and we need to be stepping up. Okay. One of the best ways to help you do that, by the way, one of the best ways to help you do that is peer group. Most of you on here, I know I've done loads of these, most of you on here, right, you're the big fish in the small pond. What I mean by that is you're hanging around with people and you're normally the first person that does something first. You're trying out property and then they might do it later, right? You try out a new diet, they might do it. You go to the gym, they might do it, right? You're the leader in the pack. Not all of you are, but many of you are, okay? Now, here's the problem with that. You need to lead. What I want to do is have a peer group who make me up my game. So I'll give you an example, right? One of my main goals this year, right? One of my main goals is to be a world-class husband. I'm already an awesome husband, right? Layla would tell you that. But I want to be world-class. It's one of my written goals, right? So what we look for, Layla goes out every day, and one of her jobs every day is to find amazing men. She'll come back and go, Aran, I met the most amazing man today, right? And I'll go, is he married, right? And she'll go, yes, he is. I'll go, brilliant, I need to be around him. Because if she thinks he's amazing and she thinks he's awesome, I want to spend time, I want to walk in a room where every other husband in that room full of couples, every other husband is batting above me. He's doing a better job of being an amazing, because guess what? I lift my game then to be in that space. Does this make some sense by show of hands, right? If I want to be more wealthy, right, I want to be walking in a room where everyone's more wealthy than me, because I have to up my game to be in that space. And they're talking about how they're more wealthy and they've got those habits, and I start to get some of those habits. But it starts by getting the habits first and then the wealth comes, right? You got to start with the habits of the wealthy if you want the wealth. You can't have the habits you used to have and change to get the wealth. Same as if you're not very nice to people to start with and then you learn to love, right? You can't keep not being nice to people and get the love. You have to learn to love, right? So I hope this is landing. I really hope this is landing. Your peer group is everything. Your peer group is everything. I'll share with you actually. Here's a slide, right? This is Richard, right? Richard's one of my peer group. He's somebody that I've JV'd and worked with now for the last 23 years, nearly 24, right? He's helped people to raise over £1 billion of JV finance. That inspires me. Trained accountant, specialist buy-to-let broker since 97. He became financially free through property in 2007. Do you know why that bugs the hell out of me? Right? Because I became financially free in 2008. Right, I have overtaken him, to be fair, I have overtaken him now. He's got family lets, holiday lets, service accommodation, he's done deal sourcing 40 properties, we've done 1,500, I know it's not a contest, but he's an awesome peer group. Do you know what he does these days? He's a triathlete competing in the World Championships for Team GB. What kind of standard do you think he has? If he's coming over to meet up with me, right, I go in the gym and work out just because he's coming, right, because I need to. Because you don't get to be a triathlete without being awesome at that. And these days he spends his life, virtually retired, but he spends his life helping other people with their plans, with their goals, and coaching them and helping them to move forward. And that's the kind of peer group I want around me because he affects me. If he's coming over, I'm literally changing what I eat and moving around a little bit more just because I'm going to be around him. Right? By the way, because he plans and coaches with people, he helps them work out how to get financial freedom. Who'd love it if I could arrange for you to spend just a little bit of time around somewhere? If I could arrange for you to spend a bit of time with Richard, who'd like that? By show of hands. I'm going to show you later how you can do that. You personally can spend some time one-on-one with Richard where he'll work with you and plan and coach with you. Okay? But what you need to do, think about that peer group. And it's not about dumping your old friends or getting rid of them. I love on absolutely everybody, right? So I'm still going to love them, I'm going to care for them, but I'm going to prioritize where I spend my time. Darren Hardy talks about in The Compound Effect. It's a brilliant book, The Compound Effect. And Darren talks in there, right, about 30-minute friends, 3-hour friends, and lifetime friends. What's the difference? We all know we've got people in our lives that if you spend longer than 30 minutes with them, they will negatively get in your head and pull you back. That's a 30-minute friend, right? It might be a family member that you're thinking as I talk about that, right? We've all got those people in our life. So you'll have a coffee with them, but no more. Because if you spend longer than 30 minutes with you know they're going to affect this. And then you'll have a 3-hour friend. That's someone you can go to dinner with, have a lot of fun with, but spend longer than 3 hours, they'll start to negatively impact you. And then your lifetime friends are the ones that are pulling you up, the ones that are making you play a higher level. Make sense? Yes or yes? Good. Okay, fantastic. Right. I just wanted to land that before we started with today. I wanted to land that. Now, today is all about this question, which I'm going to keep asking you, right? Would you like to make £250,000 in the next 5 years from property? And it says all, but I'm going to say and £1 million in the next year from property minimum, okay? Because I'm going to show you how. Now, listen carefully. Which deal is the hardest when you're learning something new? The first, the fifth, or the 10th? Which is the hardest? It's the first, isn't it? It's the first. Why is the first deal the hardest? Because you're new at it. You're more nervous. You're outside the comfort zone. Once you're comfortable with it, you'll go faster, quicker. You'll know what you're doing, right? So would it make sense to you, right? Which £50,000 a year of profit is the hardest? The first, the second, the fifth? Show me with your finger. Which 50 grand a year of profit from property is the hardest? Which? The first, right? The first. Getting to 50 grand a year is hard, right? But getting to 100 grand a year is surely then a lot easier. Do you know what I love about property? Think about this for a moment and let this land, because it is magic. You know when you're a doctor and you come out of doctor school, right? They've done 7 years training and get paid something ridiculous, like I don't even know what it is, like 20 or 25, 30, 35 grand a year. Forgive me, I don't know the exact number, right? After all that training, they're getting a very small amount, right? Then, if they want a pay rise, they might need to get better at something new, right? So they might need more specialism over the next 2-3 years. Then if they want another pay rise, they might need to become a specialist in legs. Then if they want another pay rise, they have to now become a specialist in knees. And then another pay rise, a specialist in a part of the knee. But my point is, they have to learn something else to get the pay rise. Learn something else to get the pay rise. Does this make sense by show of hands? Right? And it's the same as an accountant, it's the same as a marketeer, it's the same as a salesperson. In any profession, that's how it works, isn't it? Learn something that brings more skill, get a pay rise. Learn something that brings more skill, get a pay rise. Do you know what I love about property? It's absolute genius. I don't know any other profession that's like this. Do you know what I love about property? You learn one strategy. You marry the hell out of it and learn one strategy, right? You learn to raise the money. If you haven't got it, you learn to raise the money and you learn the strategy, and you build a portfolio so you're on 50 grand a year, right? And if you want another 50 grand a year, if you want a pay rise, you just do the same thing again. You don't have to do any more training. You don't have to learn anything else. And doing the same thing again is easier because you've already done it. And then if you want to be on 150 grand a year, do you know what you do? The same thing again. Why aren't you smiling? This is so exciting. This is unbelievable. Right? It's unbelievable. So what value learning that skill properly? Because once you've learned it properly and you've done it, and you've got brave enough to do it, I get that, there's some fears and everything else. All you do is keep doing the same thing and you get paid more and more and more for doing the same thing. If you get bored, you can learn another one. But you don't need to. That is magic. That is magic. So I know, because I work with students all the time, and I guarantee them on my VIP program that they'll be on 50 grand a year within 2 years. That's whatever money they start with. They can start with no money, lots of money, no experience, lots of experience. They have to give me 5 hours a week consistently, right? But as long as they can do that, I can guarantee them within 2 years, right? Within 2 years that they'll be on 50 grand a year. But what that means is, I know within 4 years, so if they can get to 50 grand within 2 years, definitely within 4, probably quicker because the second 50 is easier, they'll be on 100 grand a year. And within 6 years, they'll be on 150 and so on. If that's where they want to get to. They might want to go sit on the beach and not bother carrying on. But the first 50 is the hardest, but you've got to understand that and go after it with a vengeance, right? Go after it as a must, or not, and check out on it and don't bother. It's your choice, but you can do it. Anyone on this call can be on 50 grand a year in the next 2 years through property if they choose to do it and they commit 5 hours a week. And by the way, don't tell me you haven't got 5 hours. Anyone can find 5 hours. If your kid was sick and in hospital and you had to visit them an hour every night, you would. You can find 5 hours, right? Just turn off the TV for a little while, right? Or Facebook. Anyway, is this useful so far by show of two hands? Good, good, good. Right. So how do you do it? There's 4 steps to getting to being on 50 grand a year, which leads to 250 grand in 5 years, 1 million in the next 10. Your 4-step plan. Let's have a look at this. Step 1, write these down. Step 1, choose the right strategy for you. That has to happen first, because if you haven't chosen the right strategy, then you don't know what you're doing next. Step 2, find the deals. Step 3, find the money. Now, people always say, well, which one do I do first? Do I find the deals first or find the money? Do both at the same time. Always be finding deals, always be finding money. If you find a ton of money, I promise you, you'll quickly find a deal. And if you find an amazing deal, I promise you, you'll find the money. I promise you, right? So always be finding deals, always. Now, you can't do step 2 and 3 until you've chosen a strategy. That's why so many people at the beginning get lost in property. Because until you've chosen a strategy and married it, you can't get great at finding the deals for that strategy. Can't get great at finding the money for that strategy. And then step 4 is missing all the time. You know, you all needed, not all of you, but most of you needed sacking for your financial freedom job. It's that consistency, isn't it? If I want to build muscles, I can't go to the gym for a week like crazy and then do nothing for the next 5 weeks, and then do a week like crazy and nothing. I have to go consistently, even if I go less, but consistently, then I'll build the muscle. Same with getting financially free. You can't do it in fits and starts. You just need to get consistent and make it a must. Okay, so that's your 4-step plan, and we're going to spend today unpacking that a little bit and starting to understand it a little bit. Okay, next, let's have a look at another strategy. Okay, what I want to do is talk to you about a property trend. It's not being talked about. I don't know anyone else teaching you in this niche I'm about to share with you that can make you £40,000 profit per annum. That's cash flow plus equity growth, by the way, based on 5% growth. But £40,000 per annum, it's 20,000 of cash flow from just one house. From just one house, okay? This is all part of the Safe Secure Portfolio Plan. Adam, someone's just asked me, they want to join Property Mentorship Academy. They asked, can you put the link in the chat? So could you just drop it in there for me? That'd be amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There's still, I think, 3 or 4 places left on that with the bonuses if you want it. So just go to the link in the chat that Adam's just putting in, and you'll be able to claim one of those last 3 or 4 spaces if you want it. If you want it. Okay. Okay. So this is all part of the Safe Secure Portfolio Plan, right? So we've got the simple selection system. We're going to spend some more time in now, and the powerful purchase plan. Purchasing the right property. So this property here is called the Lodge in Snainton. Okay, and in June 2011 I moved into that house. Me and Layla and our family moved into that house, and it was our dream house. It was the house I'd always dreamed of since I was about 8 years old. There's about an acre of land at the back of it. Down on the left hand side, you can't see it, there's an annex it's only 1-story annex, but it's pretty much as wide as the house looks there. Again, on the left-hand side, there's some outbuildings. It was just gorgeous. It was a dream house, right? And it was about 9 miles outside town in a village. And it was on a road that wasn't the fastest road. It took about 25 minutes there and back. So we moved into the dream house, and I'll never forget the day that we moved in, and there's boxes everywhere. We haven't unpacked yet. And I'm sat down the far end in the annex that looks out over the garden. And I was sat with my 8-year-old daughter, which was quite magical because I've dreamt of it since I was about 8. And now I'm sat with my 8-year-old daughter, Georgia. She's 20, 21, 22 now. And I sat there, and I've had a tin of cider, and I don't really drink, so I'm a bit tipsy. And I'm looking out the window going, Georgia, do you see that tree over there? That's our tree. And you see that tree? It's just magical. That tree over there, it's our tree, right? And I was so excited. Now, within 3 or 4 years, this dream house, unfortunately, is no longer our dream house. Because what we found as our kids have become teenagers, to all the boys older than Georgia, they're all teenagers, the school is 25 minutes drive away and then come back. Then 25 minutes to pick them up and then come back. Then they go to a club 25 minutes and back, and then another club 25, and then another one's off at their friends, and another one's doing this, and another. We're not spending any time in our dream house. Me and Layla are spending our time on the road from our dream house to town. So we get to the point where this just isn't working. We're like, right, we need to move back into town. We need a house near the school, and we actually buy one right or virtually next to the school, our next dream house, right? But by then, 2015, I categorically knew my rule, which was to never, ever sell a property, okay? Now, it's not always the case with residential, I get it, but I was like adamant not to sell. I'd been stung in the past on residential where I'd sold, stayed in touch with the person who bought it. They bought it from me for about 90, spent 20 on it, and they sold it 2 years later for 180. And he ribbed me for years saying, you think you're good at property, you're an absolute idiot. Right, he did it in a joking way, but he had a point, right? I should never have sold it to him. So I was adamant not to sell it, but it wouldn't work as a buy-to-let. The numbers didn't work, right, financially. It wouldn't work as an HMO. It could set up as an HMO, but it was too far out of town to work as an HMO. And I just didn't know what to do. And almost in desperation, I reached out to a company that specialised in renting properties in villages, right? And I got them to come round and have a look round, and they came round and they said, hey, listen, this is a great property. I said, well, what could you do? We could do £65,000 of revenue, and if you give us total flexibility, why wouldn't you, by the way, we can do £85,000. Now, I was totally and utterly skeptical. I was like, but remember by then, right, I've been investing for 15 years, I've been teaching on stage for 3-4 years, I've been doing webinars for 10 years, and I've never come across this strategy. I'm totally skeptical. So the only thing that convinced me to give it a go, the only thing that convinced me was I found out that one of the most conservative organisations in the world trusts this company's numbers. Who am I talking about? The British banks. The British banks. I want you to understand this, right? If you go and buy a property that is an office, block of offices, or a shop, and there is a tenant in there with a 10-year lease or a 5-year lease, right? Even better if it's Marks and Spencer's or one of the big banks or something. You've got a tenant in there. For the bank to lend their money on that project, they're pretty certain if they have to repossess that they're going to get paid because there's this long lease in there that will guarantee them getting paid. So they're quite comfortable to lend in those scenarios. But here's the thing. If they lend on a property that you're going to run, and if you haven't guessed it, by the way, you're going to run it as a holiday let, if they lend on a property like that, how do they know what the income's going to be? And their valuers aren't skilled at that. They can value the bricks and mortar of the house, but they can't be sure what the income's going to be. Right? So that makes them more nervous. But I find out that they get their numbers from this company. I'm like, if it's good enough for them and they're happy to lend millions of pounds based on these numbers, maybe I should give it a go. Maybe I should trust it. So we give it a go. And sure enough, in the first year, this property took £90,000 of bookings. They promised 85, remember. Took £90,000 of total bookings, and it put £30,000 of profit, cold hard cash, in our back pocket, plus 20 grand of asset growth. It made us 50 grand in that year, cash and equity growth. So what is this booming trend that can replace your salary with just 5 minutes a week? I just told you, right? No one in the UK is teaching it, by the way. People are teaching service accommodation, but this is a niche. This is larger hollylets, sleeps 10 to sleeps 12 hollylets, where you target multi-generational stayers. The grandparents with the kids and the grandkids, families. You don't want stag do's, you don't want hen do's, they're going to trash your property. You want the multi-generational stayers in your property. And I used to think, God, I mean, I get them booking in the school holidays, but they're not going to book all year round, right? That property is booked something like 48 weeks of the year. I call a weekend a week, by the way. It doesn't have to book for the full week to be booked, but 48 weeks of the year. Now, I'm going to unpack this a bit more in a minute, but just before I do, to finish off the story, that was 2015. In 2016, it blows my brains, the income, right? Now, you know what I'm like, or you're getting to know what I'm like. I'm like, this is amazing. I need more of these. I need more of these. I need more. You know, if something's amazing, I always want more, right? That's part of my character. I don't know where it came from. I just want to grow things, right? That's why I've got 5 kids instead of stopping at 1 or 2. Okay? So I'm like, I need to grow this. I need more, I need more, I need more, right? But do you remember I said yesterday morning, I'm also a detail geek. So I'm like, I need to grow this, I need to grow this, but hang on a minute. First of all, let's check all the numbers. Let's do the research. I felt like I might have just fluked it. I might have just fluked the only property left in the whole of the UK that happened to be in a place where there wasn't one. And I'd just been lucky, and mine was filling because of that, right? So I run all the numbers. I spent about 12 months analysing it all through 2017. And I get to the point where I'm like, I've got an analyzer now. I've got a set of rules. I know what works. I know what doesn't work. And I buy another 2, right? And sure enough, they make me 20, 30 grand of cash flow profit. Then, okay, friends. In fact, they make me 30 grand of cash flow profit back then. Then friends start saying, what are you doing? What's going on with these? And they say, well, you show me, and I show them. And about 8 separate friends buy 1 or 2 each themselves. Boom, they make the same profit. Boom, they make the same profit. Boom, they make the same profit. That's about the end of 2018 now. So come 2019, I'm like, right, I'm ready to teach this to my students. Because I never teach something until I've done it loads and I know it absolutely works. I don't want to teach people and take a risk and get it wrong. I need to know it works before I teach on. Right, so this booming property trend, as I said, is multi-generational hollylets. In 2019, just before I start to teach, I think I'll do some final research just to be sure. Catch some of this info, right? 2019 Thomas Cook survey, big organisation, right? They said the number of families going away together had risen from 57% in 2017, this is before COVID, to 65% in 2019. That's an 8% increase in just 2 years. But even more special, it's 8% of 57%. It's like a 12% increase in just 2 years. I mean, what do you think COVID did to that, by the way? Right, then I looked at a Virgin survey. There was a Virgin survey done. 70% of families have taken multi-generational holiday in the last few years. And that 40% of grandparents admit they enjoy the break far more with their kids and grandkids than if they went on their own. This next one blew my brains. First choice survey, you know, for those older like me, do you remember when there was 1830 holidays? You may or may not have gone on them, but First Choice surveyed 20 to 30-year-olds, and 79% of them said they prefer to take a multi-generational holiday each year. Why? 23% of them said it saves them money, 18% said it meant they could have multiple holidays each year, and 24% said being able to take a more luxurious getaway with their parents and grandparents. And interestingly, 75% of parents are happy to contribute part or all of their children's holiday costs when they do this. So this booming trend is multi-generational hollylets, okay? I'm going to unpack this more fully for you, but I just want to show you examples, right? Now, this is the manor house. This is a bit posh. This was the next dream house we lived in, by the way, before we moved to Wilmslow, where I live now 4 years ago, right? So your holiday doesn't have to look like this, but fully booked, fully booked, fully booked, right? They just book out. There's the lodge, fully booked, right? Booked, okay? Now, what I want to show you here, this is called the retreat, okay? I call it the retreat, but if you look at it carefully, right? That property is sat, because those first two were a bit nicer properties, right? They're all nice properties inside, don't get me wrong, but this is on a street of terraced houses worth about 150 to 160,000 pounds each. That's the street that's on. Now, admittedly, this one's double fronted, so we've got two terraced houses in effect. It was built double fronted, right? But at the back of there's a yard, and the yard is overlooked by three other houses, and it's only big enough for a hot tub and a couple of benches, a couple of tables where 4 people can sit. That's it. That's the total yard space that property has got. Right? That property, 2020, 2021 during COVID, did 100 grand a year of bookings. Now it's settled back down again to its normal about 90 grand, 80 to 90 grand a year of bookings. And it'll make us about 30 grand a year of profit. Okay, now I want you to model on, that's 30 grand of cash flow profit. I want you to model on 20 grand of cash flow profit. That's what I want you to model on. Okay, that's what I want you to be thinking about when you think about this. Okay, let me show you another example. Okay, I know I'm skipping through, they book like crazy. Here's another one. This is an ex-B&B. So like, take a terrace road of B&Bs, right, and put that one in the middle of it. You see the little green at the front? That is next to the main road. So there's a table for 4 seats, but next to the main road. And then at the back, again, tiny space with a hot tub in it and seating for about 6 or 8 people. Okay? That books out permanently. That's booking out all the time. I mean, not every single week, but it books out all the time. You want these to be booking at least kind of 35 to 45 weeks of the year, and you'll do the big numbers. You'll do the big numbers, okay? And then those that book more than that, you'll do even bigger numbers, okay? So this is multi-generational Holly lets, right? How do you hit the income sweet spot for these? What's the magic in it? The magic, my friends, if I put the graphic up, let me just draw this for you, right? The magic is, if you take a property, and on this bottom line is how many people can sleep in it, and on this line going up here, so this is how many people can sleep in your property, right? And this is the money you have to put in and the return you get, okay? Here, you might have sleeps 2, sleeps 4, sleeps 6, sleeps 8, sleeps 10, right? And it's relatively, it goes up in increasing increments, right? You put a bit more money in to buy a sleeps 4 than a sleeps 2, and you make a bit more money. Same with a sleep 6 versus sleep 4. It goes up increasing like that. Do you know what happens at sleeps 10 to 12? It's absolutely crazy. At 10 to 12, it goes like this. It goes like this. So this is 5 to 6 bedroom properties, right? 5 to 6 bedroom properties. Why does it go like that? Supply and demand. Who's building 5 and 6 bedroom properties? Not many people. Not many people. Okay? When I first started out this strategy, I was buying like 8 bedroom sleep 16. When I first did this strategy, some of those properties I showed you were 8 bedroom sleep 16, right? But that was too niche. That was too niche. So now I bat in the sleeps 10 to sleeps 12, right? When I mean too niche, I want there to be plenty of stock so that I can buy enough of them, right? We're currently in the process of buying 50 of these. We've got 16 at the moment, right? Of buying 50 of them. That's our goal. That's what we're buying at the moment. Remember, they're an investor strategy. I'll come back to that in a moment. But this is the sweet spot because there's a demand for them. If you are a grandparent with 2 children and they've got children as well, and you all want to go away together, you need a sleeps 10 or a sleeps 12. If you've got 3 children, you definitely need a sleeps 10 or a sleeps 12, right? So there's a lot of demand for them, but no one's really building lots of 5 and 6 bedroom houses. Some of them get built, but not lots. So there's a real massive niche here, a gap in the market. And this is specifically, you know, with service accommodation, yesterday I said there's 12 guest types. This is not 12 guest types. This is really, really focused, right, on the Holylet market, but the multi-generational Holylet market. That's our target market when we're dealing with this, okay? So you're going to buy a property, right? It's going to be 5 or 6 beds, like I just said, right? 5 or 6 beds, right? Sleeps 10 to 12, okay? And you're going to spend between 200 and 450. In most cases, it's between 250 and 450 that you'll actually spend. So that's what you're going to spend, right? and you're going to look for turnover on this property between 70 to 90k of turnover, right, of bookings coming in on the property. But the key magic number for you is the cash flow profit from that. Now, you'll pay a booking agent to get all of these bookings. The reason you do that, right, they've got algorithms that they spend millions and millions of pounds on, right, every month to get you bookings. And we've tried doing it ourselves versus using them. And even though they might take like something like 18% of your profits, right, they still by far beat doing it yourself, right? So we use a booking agent. Because we're using the booking agent, you are literally doing 5 minutes per week on WhatsApp. Yeah, I teach all of this within my VIP program, exactly how to set these up, exactly how to do this, exactly how to run this. PMAs, don't panic, it's in there too, right? But the cash flow profit here will be about £20,000, right? And if this is a 400k property, do you remember the profit levers? I don't want you ever again to just think cash flow, right? Discount only pays us once, so I'm not overly going to worry about that right now. I'd pay full asking for this if I needed to. But an asset growth point of view, if it's 400k property and it goes up 5%, I'm going to get 20,000 of asset growth. So this property is going to make me £40,000 this year of cash and asset growth, plus any discount, plus I'll be able to refinance it and get money out and buy more, etc., etc. Does this make some sense so far, team? By show of hands. Is this making sense to you? Good, 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 good. By the way, just out of interest, who would like to make £40,000 a year cash and equity from just one property? By show of hands. Who'd like 5 of those babies? Get 1, get 5 then. Do it. Make it a must and commit to it. Seriously. Now you do need some training because you can buy the wrong one, it'll make you nothing a year. Well, you'll get the asset growth, but it'll make you no cash flow a year. You need to get the right one. You need to get the right one. And this is a niche. This is a niche that I teach. Other people will say, oh yeah, I teach that in with SA. It's very different to SA. There's some similarities, don't get me wrong, of course there is. We're renting out to guests, blah, blah, blah. But it's very different to running an SA because we're going to outsource and use these booking agents that specialise in these holiday lets, that specialise in renting these properties in this way and getting this done, okay? Now, where might you get a property like that? It's relatively simple, right? Think about where you would like to go on holiday, right? Typically, right, you want there to be somewhere that you can go for a walk, don't you? Maybe the countryside, right? Or the seaside. People love going back to the seaside as an adult, right? And taking the kids back to the seaside. So the countryside, the seaside. You don't want to be in a town or city. I don't know if you've ever tried taking 12 people into the middle of Manchester and keeping them all together. The old people just want to sit in a cafe. The young people want to go shopping. And if you're in the middle, you're like, why the heck am I here? This is horrendous, right? So you want to be within an hour of a city so they can, if the ones that want to can go for a day into the city if they want to, right? But this is totally different to SA. This is not service accommodation, right? You might want, think of one of the leading tourist companies in the UK, Centre Parks. What's one of Centre Parks' key USPs? They're all in the forest, aren't they? In the forest, you can go for a walk, you can go for a bike ride, you've got peace and quiet, you can have some fun and adventure, right? So because you get your property near a forest. North Wales is a brilliant example, by the way. You've got the seaside, you've got the countryside, you've got Snowdonia, you've got some forest, you've got Chester within an hour, for example. There's loads of other areas as well. This stuff works in many, many areas, right? This strategy can really, really bring in the income. Really bringing the income and the asset growth. 5 minutes a week on WhatsApp, it's an investor strategy. Okay? Has that been useful just by show of hands to understand that a little bit more and see the background to that? By the way, when you look at one of these, you probably don't know this, but if one of them books for a weekend for 2 or 3 nights, it's normally the same price as if it books for a week. Same price, right? So I don't care whether someone books for a week. In fact, I prefer a shorter booking, a weekend booking, because they don't use the house as much, but I still get the same money. So when you're looking at other properties and you're going, how much are they booking? If they've got a booking in that week, it means that week has been booked, right? So a weekend booking, which is what you'll normally get in the autumn, for example, weekend bookings for birthdays, you won't get a full week booking when it's not a school holiday mainly, right? But you'll be getting the same money as though it was a full week booking. Same booking rate, okay? Please don't think I've taught you Holly Lets. This is about 2 days of teaching to teach you it properly inside out and back to front, right? I've got, for my VIP members, they have over 80 videos and 80 documents that teach them exactly how to do it step by step by step. So go learn it somewhere else or learn it from me. But for some of you on here, this will be a really great strategy. The money in, by the way, the money in you're going to need for a deal like this depends on the purchase price, of course, but money in is going to be somewhere between 100 to 120k. That's what you're likely to need to buy the property, pay the stamp duty, solicitor, etc., get it set, any titivating refurb, get it set with furniture, right? But that's not a bad investment to invest that and then be on 40k a year. Okay, I don't have time to do the profit levers right now. You saw the service accommodation one yesterday, 72 million pounds, right? You can guess this is bigger. This is bigger, but you can do the maths on that yourself later to practice the profit levers, right? And see how it models through. It's bigger. You buy one Holly Let. You don't even have to buy three SA units. This is one Holly Let. Model it through. It's in excess of 70 million pounds of profit you make in 40 years. Who'd like to make 70 million pounds in the next 40 years? Being cautious. Remember, I was eighth as cautious. Holly Lets. Right. Cool. Right, here's what we're going to do next. Do you remember yesterday I taught you about Be Your Own Bank? I taught you about raising money and working with other people. We looked at Barack Obama, didn't we? And we discussed the 50-50 JV and the guaranteed interest model and how they work, right? How do you get people attracted towards you? How do you get people interested in you and potentially interested in giving you money? Well, let me introduce you to Andy. This is Andy, right? Andy's based in Nottingham. And Andy was a member of my VIP program, okay? And he was an action taker. Whatever I taught him and showed him to do, he went and did it. And he kept doing it. Apart from the Be Your Own Bank stuff, he did everything else I showed him, absolutely everything. But the Be Your Own Bank stuff, he just wasn't getting done. And when I'd speak to him, he'd say, I'm just nervous about it. I've not done it before. It's new to me. And I said, the other stuff's new. He says, I know. I just feel more nervous about this. I've got more old beliefs about money and talking about it. I just feel a bit nervous. By the way, who would feel a bit like Andy if you're being totally honest? By a big, strong show of hands. Put your hands up, right? And look around so you know you're not on your own, so you don't feel lonely, right? It's totally normal. It's totally normal. Now, the beauty of a peer group, right? He's in the VIP group, right? So he's got these peers around him, and he's seeing people posting in the WhatsApp groups that we have, going, raised £500,000 this week. That was a 19-year-old, right? Raised £500,000, raised 200 grand, raised 50 grand, raised 100 grand, raised 30. And he keeps seeing people around him, right, raising money and getting deals done. And the beauty of a peer group is eventually he goes, oh, I'm going to have to flipping do this. Going to have to do it, right? So he's got me pushing him, but he's seeing this in the peer group. Boom. That's the value of the peer group, right? So what Andy does, you literally have to have a 3-sentence thing called a property identity. Write down property identity, because that's what I'm teaching you right now, okay? Property identity, it's my word, it's my phrase, all right? It's what I teach. So he needs a 3-sentence property identity, and I've been telling him to create it and share it. So he creates it, and for some reason, because you don't need to do this, he decides to videoing himself saying it, right? And if you do decide to join VIP and you get to meet Andy, or you go Google him and find him, right? Basically, he got his wife, Rose, to hold the camera phone and videoing him saying it. And for some reason, Rose was nervous. So she's recording him doing this 10-second piece, and her hand's shaking like this. You can literally see the video shaking around, right? And he records himself saying these 3 sentences, and on the end of it saying, do you know anyone like that, right? And he takes this piece. By the way, in a moment, I'm going to show you exactly what he wrote. So you want to get your screen grabbers ready or get your camera phones ready, because I'll show you it and you can take a picture of it and you'll see what he wrote to do this, right? He shot a video, you don't need to. But anyway, he shot this video, he puts it up on Facebook. It takes him about 24 hours to get brave enough to hit submit. He tells this story brilliantly. Eventually he hits submit and he posts his video. Within 60 seconds, I'm telling you, within 1 minute, one of his best friends, who he shares a car ride to work with 3 days a week, messages him back and says, me, I'll lend you some money, we'll do some work together. He's so nervous of talking to people about it, he'd not even mention it to the person that he does car rides with, that he's doing property. In 60 seconds, he raised 40 grand for his next deal. They've done 2 or 3 deals together since. Now, further to that, Andy then goes, I'm not promising you 60 seconds, by the way, just to be clear, right? Plan for up to 3 months. But you got it in 60 seconds, right? Then Andy goes to, it was back when, I'll tell you when it was back when we had the rule of 6, because he gets invited to a friend's house and they're having a barbecue outside, rule of 6, so they're all outside, there's 5 of his friends and him, right? And you know how at dinner parties, barbecues, people don't normally talk about money, but of course everyone's seen his video. So people ask him about it, he starts talking about it, an hour and a half later he's still talking about what he's doing. From that barbecue, 2 people gave him money to invest in property, and he got to do joint ventures with them. Right? One post on Facebook with this property identity did the trick. Who would like to see what he wrote by show of hands? Just to be clear, this is one of those where if I don't have every hand up, I'm looking through the cameras. If I do not have every hand up, you can absolutely forget about it. You have got no chance. I'm just looking through. Right, thank you. You are awake. Oh, I've never got so many emoji hands. Right, brilliant. Okay, let me put it up for you. To grab a picture quickly, right? Here's what he wrote. So, hi, my name is Andy, and I specialise in service accommodation in Nottingham and Sheffield. Now, you would write, you'd change your name, you'd write your strategy, whatever it was, and ideally you'd just put 1 town or city instead of 2. It confuses things a bit, right? I'm looking for investors with 100k plus who would like a superb return on investment. Do you know anyone like that? Boom. The reason it's short and sharp is you will use this property identity in many ways. You can post it on Facebook, LinkedIn, other places like that, but you would also use it on your email signature. You would also use it when you go to property networking. Instead of going, hi, I'm Andy, Andy now will go, hi, I'm Andy, I specialise in service. He'll take that 10 seconds. Anything longer than 10 seconds feels rude, but 10 seconds works perfectly. And because you finish with it, do you know anyone like that? The receiver is able to go, yeah, actually me, I'd be interested. Or no, not me, but my friend Bob might be interested. Or no, I don't know anybody. I don't know if you've ever been to a networking meeting, right? You'll have done this if you've been to networking, because I used to do it all the time. You go to networking, you go to break with someone, and you spend 20 minutes speaking to the same person. It's a nice conversation, they're a nice person, but the reality is that you'll never do any business ever together. Has that ever happened to any of you at any networking session, by the way? Right? Happens all the flipping time. Well, that's a waste of that 20 minutes, isn't it? If you learn how to network properly, you're leading with this, and within 40 seconds, well, within 20 seconds, you know whether there's some mutual interest. And if there's not, you can learn to politely say, great meeting you, I'm here to network, and you move on. And then in that 20 minutes, you see 15 people, and you might get 2 people that might be interested. You don't jump in with them. You arrange to see them later. I teach all of this in my trainings, right? Property identity. Let me show you another one. This is Lorraine. Okay, Lorraine was also on my VIP program. She's a massive action taker in all areas, including this, right? So she writes a post. She doesn't create a video. You don't need to, and she puts the post on Facebook. Doesn't take 1 minute. It takes about 24 hours. But somebody that she went to school with, that was an acquaintance at school, really, not that close at school, reaches out to says, Lorraine, I've sold my business. And I've got some money and I might be interested in putting some money in. If I could put 100 grand in, what could you do? Now she's a go-getter, so she goes and gets a property. They do the first deal, makes her a load of money, makes him a load of money. They're both really pleased, right? Do you know what happens next? He says, Lorraine, I didn't tell you, I sold my business for quite a lot. What if I gave you £500,000? This works. This works. Property identity. It's such a simple way to get your message out there, to have clarity. We use property identity to find deals, because you can write one that's deal driven. I'll show you some of those later. You can use it to drive money. So I'm going to spend time with you on this, okay? I want you to get that there's a proven system, my students are following it, and you raise money, right? But if you don't have a system, it's probably not going to happen, if we're blunt about it, unless you've got a mum or a dad or a brother or sister who's got it and are there to give it to you. So you need to learn the system, but it changes your life. When you can raise all the money you need for deals, you told me yesterday, if you learn to raise 100 grand, you can raise as much as you want. Once you've learned that skill, you've got it for life. Here's you again and again and again. And it gets easier and easier and easier, doesn't it? First deal is always the hardest, then it gets easier. Okay. Has this been useful this morning so far by show of hands? Good. Right. Just to finish off the highlights, just as a reminder, right? Just as a reminder, okay? If you want to make 40 grand profit from one house, that's cash flow and equity growth, all you have to do is find the right house, furnish it, and let someone else manage it. It's 5 minutes a week on WhatsApp once it's set up. And finding the right house might take you 3 to 6 months to find it and buy it and get it set up, right? 5 hours a week, let's say. If you've got 3 hours a week, it might take you just a bit longer. But it's going to pay you all that money for the rest of your life. It's going to make you 70 odd million quid. Is it worth doing a little bit of work for 6 months? I think it is, isn't it? I think it is, right? I think it's worth doing 5 hours a week to be on 50 grand a year, isn't it? Maybe it's worth putting that time in, right? And it's tax efficient, really tax efficient. So that was the powerful purchase plan and the simple selection system, all part of the safe, secure portfolio plan. Now we've got about half an hour, maybe 40 minutes left in this session, okay? So what I want to do in the rest of this session, I'm going to start to spend some time in this confident investment formula. Now, as we're shifting gears, okay, it's up here under purpose in this orange area, the confident investment formula. As we're shifting gears a bit, let's just have a little shake out. So shake your body out, okay, stretch if you need to, take a sip of water, whatever you need to be in an awesome state for this next session, okay? If you're enjoying yourself so far, raise your hand, say aye. I can't hear you in Wilmslow, say aye. Oh, I can hear you now. Brilliant. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you for your engagement. Right. So confident investment formula. Right. Listen up. What I'm going to share with you next is what I call the title for your page, for your notes. It's what I call the pyramid of wealth. The pyramid of wealth. I have been fascinated for the last 20 years, fascinated with what makes one person wealthy and other people don't. Or what makes one person have the most amazing intimate relationship and someone else doesn't, or have the most amazing friendships and someone else doesn't, or be brilliant at business and someone else doesn't, or be really healthy and fit and somebody else doesn't. I've been fascinated by it, and in fact I've spent over 20 to 25,000 pounds a year in, year out for the last 15 years studying this, traveling around the world, attending different programs. I've read so many books on all of these topics. I've interviewed people. I'm absolutely committed to it because I want these distinctions. Success leaves clues. I'm massive about that. You hang around successful people and you accidentally learn all sorts of stuff. Success leaves clues, right? And I want those distinctions, okay? So what I've done is I've taken what I believe are the main distinctions that the wealthy have, that have helped make them wealthy, that others don't have or necessarily think about as much as they should. And I call it my pyramid of wealth. Now, what I'm sharing with you, by the way, are my best nuggets. All the stuff I've learned, I've tried out, the ones that didn't work for me, or I don't think are brilliant, I'm not sharing with you because that's not going to help you, right? I'm sharing the best nuggets of all that training, all that learning, and all that stuff and sharing it with you. Now, please listen carefully. I know you won't agree with absolutely everything I'm about to say, and I'm cool with that. They're my distinctions, they're not yours, right? But what I'm going to encourage you to do, especially in the next half hour, is keep a really open mind. Just take notes like crazy for now, right? Keep an open mind, take notes, and later on reflect and think, which of these will add value to my life, as in your life? Which of these will help me become more wealthy? Which are going to take me on this path and on this journey, okay? So the exercise we're going to do, there are 7 levels of the pyramid. And as we do each level, I'm going to encourage you to score yourself out of 10 on it, where 10 is I'm a genius at this, I've got this nailed, everything's great, and 0 is I'm really rubbish at this, I need to work on it. And what I'd like you to do is identify 3 small things you can do, underline small things if you're writing it down, 3 small things you can do to just slightly improve that score. If you're a 2 out of 10, I'm not interested in saying, what can you do to become a 10 tomorrow? Because it isn't going to happen. You don't jump from a 2 to a 10 overnight, and then your brain goes, well, I can't do it anyway, and then you don't even bother starting. If you're a 2, I want you to become a 3 or a 4. So what are 3 small things you could do that would move that score to a 3 or a 4? If you're a 4, what would make you become a 5 or a 6? If you're a 6, what would make you become a 7? If you're a 7, what would make you an 8 or a 9? Does the exercise make sense by show of hands, team? Yeah? These slides and this content is VIP mastermind content. We get this out every time I'm together with the VIPers, because through a year, it's an 18 months I work with, and through 18 months, right, if you're getting this out every couple of months, your 2 becomes a 3, becomes a 4 or a 5, becomes a 6, becomes a 7 or 8. So you don't get to 8, 9s and 10s overnight, but by the time they're a year in with me, they've got all these to 8, 9s and 10s, boom, they're getting seriously wealthy. It's happening. It's happening, right? These are the distinctions of the wealthy. Success leaves clues, and I wanted to share them with you. So if you're not going to work with me in the long term, you can take these away and start to work on them. You know where your gaps are. You know what you need to work on. If you are going to work with me, we'll do more of it, and I make no apologies for that. It's so important. It's crucial, in fact. Absolutely crucial. Okay. Does the exercise make sense by show of hands, my friends? Making sense? Good, good, good. Fantastic. Okay. So let's walk through this then. By the way, final question before we start. In a pyramid, there are 7 levels of the pyramid. Which part of the pyramid is the most important? The pretty stone that sits on top, or the foundational base stone that sits at the bottom? Is it the top one or the bottom one? Show me with your hands. The bottom one, right? It's the bottom one. Okay? So it's all about that foundational bottom stone first. Every level is critically important, otherwise you don't get this beautiful pyramid, right? But I would argue, now it's my distinctions, I've put them in the order I think they're most important. You can agree or disagree, but that they're deliberately in this order, okay? So let's have a look at this. If I said to you, we're going to talk about getting wealthy, you know, what's important in getting wealthy, you would say this is about money, right? This section is going to be about money, we're going to be talking about money. What you're going to find interesting, I think, is that only one of the 7 levels is about money. Only one. So let's walk through each one and understand them, right? What's the ground foundational level, in my opinion, in Aran's opinion, of getting wealthy? The ground foundational level is physical body stroke energy. Physical body stroke energy. There is no point having £1 million in the bank to spend and you die tomorrow. There's no point having £1 million in the bank to spend and you're sick, right, for the next 5 years and you can't spend it. Okay? Now, I'm not going to bang on about this very much because, to be honest with you, there's so much in the media and the press these days, we pretty much know what we need to do physical body-wise, don't we? The bottom line is you need to put less rubbish in here and you need to move around a bit more often. That's the bottom line on physical body, isn't it? And you could probably write down 2 or 3 things right now, maybe you should, right? That you know you need to work on or change here or do some more on here. I wish that the human body was like a car. What do I mean by that? If you drive your car to the petrol station, right, and you put the wrong fuel in the tank, what happens to the car? What happens to it? Right? It breaks, right? Does it break straight away or does it break later? Straight away or later? It's immediate, isn't it? It's immediate. You put the wrong fuel in it, it breaks down immediately. Unfortunately, the human body, we can put rubbish in the human body and the human body keeps working and moving. That's unfortunate in my opinion. Let me tell you why. You know, when you're younger, right, some of you might still do it, but when you were younger or if you've got kids, etc., and they play these games on the PC, on the computer, right, and it's some kind of fighting game or battling game, right, and they have a health bar, and as they get shot or hit, the health bar goes down, and they start to get a bit more sluggish, and then they die, right, they get killed, right? When I look at human beings in the UK, when I look at people that I meet and spend time with, I imagine a health bar above their head like you would have in one of those games. And here's what I need to tell you, right? in the UK, in the first world, in fact, in most of the world, but definitely in first world countries, that health bar is for most people running at 60 to 70%. It's not 100% healthy. Does this make sense by show of hands so far? Right, so tell me this then. If a body is operating at 60 to 70% of its capacity, day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute, I've done it the wrong way around, but minute after minute, hour after hour, day after day, week after week, month after month, how much do you think that affects its potential? A small bit or a big bit? Which? Massive, right? Massive impact on its potential. Game-changing impact on its potential. So what do you need to change here? What do you need to do here? Right? Let me tell you a story, right? Because let me ask you a question, actually. From an energy perspective, because that's a key part of this, absolute key part. From an energy perspective, is high energy attractive or unattractive? High energy, is it attractive or unattractive? Which one? It's attractive, right? Attractive, right? Imagine if I turned up yesterday morning and I'd gone, hi, welcome to these 2 days. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. Right? If I'd have turned up with that energy, you would have checked out, wouldn't you, a day and a half ago? You'd have been out of here, right? By the way, if you think my energy is high now, I promise you it's higher later on tonight when it really matters, when I get to spend time with my wife, right? And by the way, this is day 4 of me on stage. Day 4 of me on stage. It's not day 1, day 2, because I did an event before this as well, right? This is what my life used to look like, though, 10 years ago, right? 10 years ago, here was my life. I used to get up in the morning, busy with the kids. I had 4 kids at that time, 3 at school, 1 at nursery. Getting them all ready, pack them off, get them to nursery and school, right? Then I'd go to work. Back then I had 4 businesses. Busy at work, busy, maybe 30 members of the team, busy, right? I'd get home, busy with the kids, they were coming back, get them doing their homework, getting off to the various clubs, doing their homework, clubs, tea, dinner, right? Get this one to bed, that one to bed. It'd get to about 9:30, and me and Layla is the most important person in my life, bar none, by the way, bar none. I love my kids dearly, passionately, but she's the most important, bar none. And what would happen is I would collapse on the sofa like this, probably turn on the box in the corner. Layla would do the same, right? And I'd be going, I wonder where all the passion's gone. I wonder where there's all the passion. Who is willing to admit that either in the past or now, your life has been or is like that? Just by a big, strong show of hands, if you're willing to admit it. Put it up high and look around so you don't feel lonely, right? Most hands going up. It's normal. But for me, this is unacceptable. I'm going to lose the love of my life here. If this is the passion I'm bringing, if this is the energy I've left in my tank for her, why should she stay around? Some other guy's going to turn up with a load of energy, be really attractive and take her away. This is not acceptable. So for me, it becomes a must. Do you remember that word from earlier? It becomes a must, not a maybe. I'm like, I have to sort this. This is a must. So I start studying energy. I'm flying around the world, attending different training programs. I'm reading books like crazy on it, right? And I kid you not, within 3 months' time, within 3 months of starting to study it, I used to be 8 hours a night of sleep person. If I got 7 hours 55, I was grumpy all day. Part of that was psychosomatic, but part of it was due to my energy levels. I was grumpy all day, right? I had to get 8 hours. Within 3 months, I was sleeping just 6 hours a day, right? I got 2 hours a day back. I'll come back to that in a moment. And I had more energy than I'd ever had, like miles more. And if you think my energy's high now on day 4, like I said, tonight it'll be even higher, right? It's in the tank, it's in me. That's not an accident. I've gone and studied energy to learn about it. Now, I'm not here to tell you to sleep 6 hours a day. That's not necessarily healthy, right? But I have so much energy, I just didn't need the sleep. By the way, if you get 2 hours a day back, times 7 days, that's 14 hours a week. That's like having a whole extra Saturday, isn't it? You work all week to get Saturday and Sunday off. and you have about 14 hours awake on Saturday or Sunday, that's like getting a whole extra weekend day back in my life. Game changing. Game changing. That's why I say to everyone, you can find the time, just put less rubbish in here, move around a bit more, you'll sleep a bit less, and you'll have more time to get financially free. We'll come on more on that later, right? So, but physical body and energy. Now, I don't have time to teach all of how I did that. Some real basics, right? What does your body die first without? Oxygen, right? So how much time do you spend practicing the art of breathing? I'll do 10 deep breaths 3 times a day, right? And if I do those breaths, I need half an hour less sleep every night. And if I don't do them, I need to sleep. Literally, but I'm doing them in a certain way, right? It takes me 5 minutes, I can do it while I'm driving, I can do it, right? Drinking water, for every 2 stone of weight you are, you should drink about a pint of water a day. So if you're 10 stone, you should be doing 5 pints a day. 12 stone, 6 pints a day. It's not an exact science, but rough feel, right? Wheatgrass, right? Absolute genius is wheatgrass. I just have a teaspoon of that every single morning. It's sat there because of my throat, right? But I have a teaspoon of that every single morning. If I don't have my wheatgrass, I'll need half an hour's more sleep that night. If I have it, I'll need half an hour's less sleep just from that one shot of wheatgrass. Doesn't taste brilliant the first time you taste it. That's because you're acidic, not alkaline. Just make sure 70% of your plate is alkaline. I don't give a monkeys what you put on the other 30%. It can be full of rubbish. But as long as 70% is alkaline, by alkaline I mean green. Not necessarily green in colour, but could be green in colour, carrots are alkaline, for example. But as long as it's 70% alkaline, right, that will give you energy. So my question to you is, we're not going to cover it now, but have you ever gone and studied energy? And if not, you probably want to. You have told me that energy is attractive. You have told me it would be useful for you in life to have good energy in effect, right? But you've never studied it. So maybe now's the time. So score yourself out of 10 on this team. Where are you on physical body and energy? If 10 is the most awesome you could possibly be, and 0 is pretty rubbish, where are you, right? And then what are 3 things you could do to improve that score? 3 things you could do. Is this useful, by the way, by show of hands, team? Good, I'll keep going with it. So, okay, I'm going to keep going. I know you might be writing. You know what's coming now. For the sake of time, you need to score yourself and capture your 3 as we go along, right? Because I need to keep moving, right? I'm aware of time. So what's the second level of wealth? The second level of getting wealthy and being wealthy that shows up consistently with wealthy people, right? Level 2 for me is emotions and meaning. Emotions and meaning. What the heck does Aran mean when he says emotions and meaning? Let me explain, right? Write down the words emotional home, and then I'm going to explain. Emotional home, right? We all have, as human beings, what I'm going to call an emotional home, okay? Your emotional home is the place that you go to most often. The emotion that you go to most often. Let me give you an example. I imagine you'll have someone in your life you can think of that gets angry very easily. This makes me angry. That makes me angry. I'm so angry about this. I'm so angry about that. They get angry very easily. Has anyone ever met somebody like that? By show of hands, big strong hands, and look around so you know you're not lonely, right? Virtually everyone has met someone like that, right? Then you might have someone else. Everything makes them sad. It's so sad what's happening on the news in Ukraine. It's so sad. So sad what happened to that child at school. I can't believe it. It's so sad what happened to my friend. I'm so sad about what's happening at work. Everything makes them sad. And then you might have someone else whose emotional home is happiness. They're like, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. You chop off their finger, they go, I've got 9, I've got 9, I've got 9. Right? They're happy, whatever, right? Let me ask you a question, right? 2 identical twins, identical lives, marry the same partners, live in the same houses, everything's identical, right? But one of them, their emotional home is sadness. And one of them, their emotional home is happiness. Will those identical twins have the same life or totally different? Show me with your hands. Same life or totally different? Get it in your body. Same or different? Different, right? So what you're telling me then is your emotional home affects absolutely everything. So what's your emotional home? Where do you go to the most often? Where do you spend your time? Now, by the way, what you think it is probably not what it is. I'll tell you the best way to find out. Find the 5 people in your life that you're closest with that know you the best, right? Might be your spouse, might be friends you've got, whatever. 5 people that know you the best, and just describe the theory of it, right? It's dead easy. Do the angry thing, and then the sad thing and the happy thing, right? Just describes the theory in 2 minutes. And then say to them, what do you think mine is? And then most importantly, shut up and listen, right? Don't turn around and go, no, I'm not angry, that's not what I do, right? When they tell you it's angry, right? Or whatever it is. Just shut up and listen and take it in. Ask 5 of them, see what they say, and then reflect on that. And then here's what you do, my friends. I'm going to talk about this a lot over the next 4 hours, right? You decide, is that emotional home serving you? In which case, stay living there. Or is it hurting you? Because if it's hurting you, you need to move house. You need a new emotional home, and you've got to go to work on this. Right? Is it serving you or is it hurting you? If it's anger, by the way, because some of you in this room, you would say it's anger, it's hurting you, obviously, right? People say, when I've got more money, I'll feel better. When I've got more money, I'll be happier. When I've got more money, I won't be so angry. All money is, I want to tell you this because I know a lot of wealthy people, money is just a magnifier. It just magnifies. So if you're already sad, you just get sadder. If you're already scared, you just get scareder. If you're already angry, you just get angrier. If you're already happy and a giver, you become more happy and more of a giver. So let's fix this now. Let's work on this deliberately now and be aware of it now. Where's your emotional home that you go to most often? And then what does Aran mean by meaning? Emotion and meaning was the heading here, wasn't it? What is the meaning that you are putting on things? Let me give you a couple of examples, right? There'll be people in this room, I'm one of them, I've got an ex-wife and I've got my current wife, right? I'm a bit of a Jeremy Kyle story, by the way. I've got 5 kids with 3 mums. The first one arrived when I was 19 and we'd already split up, right? Then I was married, now I'm married again. I've been with Layla for 20 years, I adore her, I'll be with her forever. That chapter is over, right, of multiple mums, right? But I've been there and I've been around all this stuff, right? But what's the meaning that you put on your exes? You people that have got exes, right? What most people do with their exes, they go, she's a bleep or he's a bleep, and I don't like them, right? They don't like their exes, right? But you got with them for a reason. At one point, you adored them. At one point, you thought they were amazing. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had children with them, right? So what are you focusing on? You might want to write this down. What you focus on, you feel. Because when people separate, they focus on the ending. And I guarantee you, my first marriage ending, it was not nice at the end. And there were some things that she did that were really not nice, right? But I chose not to focus on them because 99% of it was great. It's that bit wasn't, and that bit wasn't going to change. We were not right for the long term. So it was good that that happened. It was a blessing that that happened. But I got to choose to focus on what I wanted to focus on, and I focused on what's great about her. And as a result of that, we've raised 2 amazing kids. I'm not in love with her, but I love her, and I love the way we've raised the kids together. Separately, but together. What meaning you put on something affects everything. If my meaning was, she's an amazing mum, she's a great person, I'm going to work with her, or my meaning was, she's a bleep, and I don't like her, I don't want to speak to her, I get a totally different life based on that meaning. I'll give you one more example. Right? And forgive the example because it's a bit close to the bone, but it's a really easy way to describe it, so forgive it, right? 2 children get abused as children, right? They've been abused as children, same kind of abuse they've lived through, right? One of those children, you meet them 30 or 40 years later and they will tell you it ruined their life. They'll say they haven't been able to trust people, they haven't been able to build good relationships with anybody else, their life's been a write-off because of it. And looking in from the outside, that is totally understandable. You meet the other child, though, that went through the same abuse, the same situation, and you meet them 30, 40 years later, and they will not say that what happened was a gift, but they'll say they've turned it into a gift. They'll say, I've had the most amazing life. They've said, I've been so determined to make sure this doesn't happen to other people. I've set up 2 charities, and those charities help over 1,000 people every year that have been abused or that might be abused to be rehoused. And we've done this and this and this, and I've had the most amazing family, and we've had the most spectacular life. Two people have exactly the same thing happen to them, but a totally different outcome on their life. Why? It was the meaning that they attached to what happened. Does that make sense by show of hands? So I've gone to some extremer examples there, but my question to you is, what meanings have you attached to certain things that have happened in your past? And if I had a day with you, it's such an amazing, I would get you to work them all out, write them all down. I'd work you through that. And then you'd work out, is that meaning serving me or is that meaning hurting me? Is that moving me forward or pulling me back? Because the meaning you have attached to things, my friends, is affecting everything, your whole damn life. Absolutely everything you do is driven by these meanings you've attached to things in the past that have happened to you. Does this make some sense by show of hands, team? Good. Right. So emotions and meanings, score yourself out of 10. What are 3 things you're going to change in this area? Right, what's the next level of wealth and getting wealthy? The 3rd level of wealth and getting wealthy is relationship. What do I mean by relationship? There is no point having £1 million in the bank and no one to play with, no one to have fun with, no one to spend it with. Absolutely no point whatsoever. Okay? So relationships are vital, right? You might think you're a loner, but you're not. As human beings, we are naturally related to other people, right? And we need other people in our lives to create fun, have fun, do other things that are fun, right? So who is a friend that you really ought to have reached out to in the last 3 months? You know they're going through a bit of a tough time and you're not touching in enough. Maybe in the next break, you're going to pick up the phone and ring them or text them and check in and check that they're okay, right? Some people had a mother or a father that absolutely didn't deliver during their childhood, right? And they might dislike them or hate them or not get on well with them or what have you, right? But I promise you this, even if your mother was totally hopeless from the day you were born until now, right, she still carried you in her stomach for 9 months, right? Whatever happened since then, have you thanked her for that? Have you thanked her for carrying you for those 9 months? I haven't been a mum, right? I would find it so difficult to be pregnant and do all that. The women in the room will be able to tell us that ain't easy. That's a difficult process to go through so that that child can be born, so you could be born. So have you reached out and thanked them for the good things? Again, if your mum and dad aren't great at certain things, is it those things that you bring up with them? Or do you permanently tell them and thank them for the amazing things they've brought into your life? When's the last time you text your 5 best mates and just told them they were wonderful and why? The world spends enough time, doesn't it, telling us we're rubbish, right? You read magazines, you look rubbish. You look at this, you look rubbish, you feel rubbish, right? It's designed and set up to make us feel bad all the time. It's really easy to feel bad, right? So why not spread a bit of love? Why not just pick up the phone and text someone and go, I think you're amazing. I was thinking about it today because of this, and this. Just thought I'd let you know. When you first do it, by the way, you'll get messages back like, are you on drugs? Are you drunk again? Right? No, I mean it. I just thought I'd tell you. Spread some love. Put some love out there. You'll be amazed what comes back. Relationships are absolutely everything. And your peer group, I covered it earlier, but your peer group is everything. Me and Layla 4 years ago moved from Scarborough to Wilmslow, Cheshire, which is about a 3-hour drive, 2.5 on a good day, but 3-hour drive away. I left my head office with 50 people in it. I left my older grown-up kids in Scarborough and we moved. 70% of the reason we moved was we were ready for the next peer group. We wanted to bat at another level. We wanted to be around the next level of people in business and in fitness and health and certain areas. And we moved for that. We literally moved across the country for that reason, 70% of the reason. Right? Some of my VIPs that I can see on here, a couple of you on here know my story on my 50th birthday, right? I was 50 in the last year, right? For my 50th birthday, I booked a dream villa in Barbados. I don't do this every year, but for my 50th, I thought I'm going for it, right? I spent about £80,000 for this villa and the tea, the stuff there and the activities. And I invited 8 couples, and me and Layla, my wife, and 8 couples went away and I paid for everything, right? It was absolutely unbelievable. But do you know what you want to hear? In those 8 couples, 4 couples we knew really, really well. We'd known them for years. We knew them really well. They're a core part of my life forever. In the other 4 couples, there was one couple we hadn't even had dinner with at any point in time. We're just getting to know them. There was another 2 couples where I knew the husbands through a business group I was in. I'd never met the wives, and Layla had never met either of them, and another couple we'd had dinner with once. When I wrote to them, I said, I'm inviting a mixture of people that I've loved for many years that are just absolutely amazing and I want in my life forever. And I'm inviting another group of people who I think may be amazing friends for the next decade ahead. That's how much I put into peer group. Now, we went away and we had the most awesome time, because the view was we'll have this amazing time, we'll get intensity with them, we'll be around them a lot, and out of these 4 new couples, we'll work out which ones are going to be in our lives for life and which ones may not, and we'll drop them back off again. But that's the effort put in. Now, you don't have to spend £80,000 and go to Barbados to do that. Those of you going to buy a holiday let, you can invite the couples to your holiday let when it's empty, right? Or you can just book a holiday let for 2 or 3 grand, right? And go away for a weekend with couples and do that, right? But that's how hard we work on peer group. I put my money into it. There's certain programs I've spent 10 grand to go to the program just for the people I'm going to be around. I'm deliberately looking at my peer group all the time. Awesome husbands, awesome at health and fitness, awesome in business, awesome in property, awesome in relationship. I'm looking for those people all the time, and then I want to be around them, because that makes me play the game at a higher level. Okay? Makes sense, my show of hands, my friends? Good. Score yourself out of 10, and what do you need to change in this area? 3 things, okay? We're going to get a break in 10, 12 minutes, okay? Anyone can do 10 or 12 minutes, so push through and you'll get a break. What's the 4th level of wealth, my friends? The 4th level of wealth is time. Time. There is no point having £1 million in the bank and no time to spend it, because you're working 7 days a week, 20 hours a day. That's a pointless exercise, isn't it? Right? Let me ask you a question, my friends. Write down on your pad of paper, you've got 10 seconds. If you're not sure, guess. What's your hourly rate? What are you worth per hour? What do you get paid an hour? What is your hourly rate? You're not going to share it with anybody else, but just jot it down on your pad of paper. What's your hourly rate? How much per hour are you worth? Right? I'm going to assume that somebody's written down £15, right? I don't know, someone will have done, right? Let's assume you've written down £15, right? I do this in a live event room. I always pick a couple, right? And I find a guy that's written down £15, right? If you've written down £15, picture it in the live event room, I'm talking to the guy now, right? You've written down £15. You should never, ever, ever again take the bins out. You should never, ever, ever again mow the lawn, help with the washing up, help with the washing around the house, do any cleaning. You should never clean the car. Why? Because you can pay someone else less than £15 an hour to do those tasks. Most of those tasks you could pay a teenager a £5 an hour. Not your own, they won't do anything, will they? But someone else's teenager a £5 an hour to do those jobs, right? Now, normally, by now, the wife in the room is fuming at me, right? She's like, you're telling me you can't do all those jobs, right? What are you on about? Now, I turned to her at that point and said, well, you're probably £15 an hour too. So you should also not be doing any of those jobs. It's not. So just before any of you go back home tonight and go, Aran says I shouldn't do any of these jobs anymore, you're going to have to do them. That's not how it works, right? You outsource them to someone else. My point is, if you're doing £5 tasks, £10 tasks, you're not worth £15 an hour. And some of you wrote down 20, 25, 30, 50. And you're spending a lot of your time doing £5 and £10 tasks. Right? Sourcing my properties, well, I'll start with signing off an area first, is done by someone that I pay $5 an hour. And they're over the moon because the pay rate where they live is $2 an hour. I pay them $5 an hour and they sign off my property areas. I pay someone else $6 an hour to find my properties. So literally in my inbox each week are properties that have been found for me, and it's cost me $6 an hour to find them. Who likes the idea of that, by the way? These are properties that meet my rules and pass my analyzers. At VIP level, I have a whole set of videos and I teach my VIPs how to get virtual assistants that will just do all this for you and run the show for you, right? We're brought up to outsource certain things and not outsource others, right? What I mean by that, if I said to you who outsources, you might go, well, I don't really outsource. Well, you do, don't you? You'll go to a restaurant for a meal, you've outsourced the cooking for that night. You don't grow all your own food. You'll go to Tesco's or Morrison's or wherever, Waitrose, and you'll buy the food off the shelf, right? So you don't outsource, you outsource the growing of your food. You don't post a letter, you don't write a letter and then drive all the way to wherever it needs to go and post it yourself, right? You put it in a post box, you outsource to the post office to deliver the letter. Does this make sense by show of hands so far? So you outsource already lots of things. And generally what people outsource is what they were brought up to outsource. But who says you were brought up right in this area? Richard Branson's kids, I don't know whether he spoiled them or not. I don't know what he's paid for and what he hasn't, right? But his kids were definitely categorically brought up to outsource doing the washing up, cutting the grass. They will never have done that. Whether they had a lot of money or a little when they first left home, they won't have done those jobs because they were brought up that you pay someone else to do those because it allows you to focus on what's important to you, which might be more work, might be getting financially free, it might be just spending time with your spouse. Does this make some sense by show of hands team? Success, these clues. People think successful people have PAs and VAs because they've got a lot of money. No, they outsourced when they didn't have money and that's why they now have a lot of money. I want that to land, honestly, it's so important. So important. So have a think about that. What do you need to never do again? What do you need to never do again, right? We work really hard at this at VIP, right? By the way, just to finish this off, if you wrote down £15 an hour on your sheet of paper, right? How much time, who on here spends at least an hour a day on average watching TV on Facebook, on Twitter, LinkedIn, or something like that? All those put together, on average, you spend an hour a day on it. By show of hands, put your hands up high and keep them up and look around so you know you're not on your own. Virtually all hands are going up. And I'll ask a second question. Who, if you're being really serious with me and honest with me, you sometimes struggle to find the time to get financially free? Who sometimes struggles to find the time to get financially free? By show of hands, put your hand up high. Let me look through. So virtually all hands going up, right? So what you're telling me is you're too busy watching TV and on Facebook, and that's more important than getting financially free. That's what you're telling me, right? I know you're not liking me right now, but that is what you are telling me from your actions. So don't give me this bull that you don't have time, because it's a story that you're running in your head. Now it's a choice. I'm not saying don't watch TV. By the way, I didn't even ask you who spends 2 hours a day. The national average in the UK is 4 hours a day watching TV. That's the average. Right? But don't tell me you don't have time. It's a choice. If you had to walk into your lounge to watch EastEnders Omnibus for 2 hours, I said, right, you're £15 an hour, so that's 30 quid for 2 hours, please. Get your wallet out. And you had to pay me 30 quid to get in the room. You might think twice about coming in. Now, some of you are addicted to EastEnders, you'd pay me, wouldn't you? Right? But if you were sensible, you'd keep your money in your wallet. I've used EastEnders, but look, do a time survey. Is how you spend your time serving you or hurting you? And then when it's serving you, do more of it. And when it's hurting you, do less of it. I'm not saying never watch TV, by the way. I watch some TV, mainly sports stuff. I watch some TV to relax, but I know my hourly rate and I know it's costing me to sit there and watch it. And then it's a deliberate decision that I make to watch it. And I aim to never do anything that is less than my hourly rate. I want to outsource it to other people. I want other people to do the stuff that's less than my hourly rate. Make sense, yes or yes? Good, 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 good. Right, what's the fifth level of wealth? The fifth level of wealth, my friends, is work, career, mission. What do I mean by this? There is nothing more magical than being on mission. What do I mean by being on mission, right? It's where you get up on a morning and you are just in your flow and you are loving what you do, right? Please listen carefully to the analogy I'm about to give. If it's not for you, it will help a lot of you, but if not, it will definitely help someone you know and you can share it on with them, right? I meet so many people, I'm sure it's the same for you, and you meet them in their late 20s, early 30s, right? And they already hate their job. And then you meet the exact same person 10, 15, 20 years later, and they're still doing, if they don't hate, they dislike it, but 10, 15, 20 years later, they're still doing the same darn job. Have you, just so I know I'm not on my own, have you ever met anybody like that by show of hands? Right? We all have, haven't we? We meet people like that by show of hands, right? Imagine tomorrow, right? Imagine tomorrow that one of you turned up to my house. So John turns up to my house, he knocks on my door and I open the door. And in my hand is a hammer. And I whack John on the knee and he hobbles off. If John's pretty stupid, he comes back the second day. He rings the doorbell. I open the door. In my hand's a hammer. I whack him on the knee and he hobbles off. Now, he'd have to be totally delirious, wouldn't he, to come back the third day. But let's assume he comes back the third day. He rings the doorbell. I open the door, got my hammer. I whack him on the knee and he hobbles off. Just out of interest, if you're John, are you coming back tomorrow or are you never coming back again? Which one? Show me with your hands. Get it? He says, coming back and never coming back again, right? Then why the heck do people go back to a job that they dislike day after day after day, month after month, year after year, and keep doing it? Because they're being hit every single day by an emotional hammer, every single day, again and again and again. But yet, because we can't see the injury, they go back again and again and again. Why would you do that? Why? Now, people say to me, I get it, Aran, because my response is quit. Quit today. If you do not like it, quit today. Right? And some people understandably say, well, I can't quit today, I've got to pay the bills. Fine, set a flipping date. Set a date in your diary when this will stop. When you will stop getting hit by the hammer. It's crazy to keep getting hit by the hammer. I don't care whether that date, make it today, but I don't care if it's 12 months away, 6 months away, 24 months away, but set a date and put it in the diary and publicly tell everyone. Ideally, go tell your boss, I'll be the best member of the team you've got for the next 12 months, but you need to know I'm quitting on that day and I'll help recruit someone, I'll train them, but I'm out of here on that day. But because your subconscious brain will flip an heck, they mean it, right? And it'll find a way to replace the money. It'll get you financially free because it'll go, they're serious, they mean it, they've made it a must. You've got to set a date. You're getting hit by a flipping hammer and you're going back every day. That is the definition of madness. Does this make some sense by show of hands, Steve? And I don't mean to be dramatic, but it's you live one life. You live one life, right? If you're going to live to 80, I hope you live a lot longer, right? If you're going to live to 80, here's a question for you. How many summers do you have left? How many summers do you have left? Right? How are you going to spend them? Are you going to spend them on mission? Are you going to spend them doing stuff that you love? Or are you going to be chugging it out? Because property gives you choices. It gives you the opportunity to choose to be on mission. That if you love something, like I love this, right? I could do what I wanted today. I don't have to work another day in my life. And I don't. I love doing this. What an opportunity to have 130 people, 150 people, 100 people come and listen to me speak. Right? What a gift. They just come and listen to me and I get to say whatever I want. How cool is that? Right? I love it. It's a choice. It's a choice. And I'm on mission. I love doing it because I love the ripple effect and getting people financially free. The ripple effect of that. But it's a choice. You've got to be on mission, and if you're not on mission, you've got to set a date by which this ends. If that hasn't helped you personally, please, please, please think of people in your life that's affected by this and go help them. Just so easy to describe that hammer definition, and it lands and people get it. If they don't get it, get a proper hammer out and hit them on the leg every day till they make a decision. I don't mean that. That was a joke. I'm not inciting violence. Work, career, mission is everything. You've got to be on mission, team. And if you're not on mission, you've got to set a date by which you will be. And you've got to tell your subconscious brain and be serious about it. What's the sixth level of wealth? We're going to get a break in just a couple of minutes. The sixth level of wealth is finance. Right, finally we get to money. Right, write this down. What gets measured gets managed. And what gets managed gets done. What gets measured gets managed. And what gets managed gets done. Right? Are you measuring your money? Do you know where your money is going? I could show you for the last 8 or 9 years where every single pound that me and Layla have spent has gone. And people go, that's crazy. You're making millions and you're tracking every pound. Yeah, that's why I'm making millions. I could tell you where it's all gone. Because what gets measured gets managed, and what gets managed gets done. And then you look at that and you go, is it serving me? Or is it hurting me? If it's serving me, I'm going to spend it some more. I'm going to keep doing it. But if it's hurting me, I'm going to stop it. I'm not going to spend this money anymore. Where's your money going? Have you reviewed those direct debits? Have you reviewed those standing orders? Have you reviewed what you're spending and how often you're spending it? Because people always overspend on. If I say to you how much you spend eating out, this much, and then we go look at the bank statement, it's always more. How much you spend on the kids, this much, it's always more. So you don't even, a plumber reviews their accounts, don't they? They go, I've made 80 grand this year, what's my profit, what's my accounts? But lots of households have 80 grand coming in, but they never look at where the money goes. There's no accounting. You've got to be tracking your finances, you've got to like money, you've got to want more money. It's fine to want more money. I was brought up to never want more money. It was rude to want more money. With more money, you can do more good. It's a tool, isn't it? Just like a hammer's a tool, money's a tool. It allows you to help this person or help this community or the world. It allows you to have more fun. It allows you to give your kids more fun. It allows you to look after your mum when she's sick. It's a tool. So why wouldn't you want more money? To be broke, that you shouldn't want more money, that's crazy. Of course you want more money because it's a tool that you can use for good. You can use it for evil as well, but don't, and you're not going to like it. Right, what's the seventh level of wealth? The seventh level of wealth, I don't have time to unpack it with you, but the seventh level for completeness is to celebrate and to contribute. That spiritual sense, to celebrate and to contribute. And you've got to build that into your life, by the way, celebration and then giving back, right? But you've got to celebrate. You have to become a better celebrator. Okay, we're rubbish. Adults are rubbish celebrators. As a child, you celebrate anything. A 5-year-old will dance across the floor just for fun. What are you doing? Just having a dance, right? You get to be an adult, you think you look like a freak, so you never do anything fun like that. It's all serious. Better not celebrate. The only time you celebrate is when your local football team or your national sports team score a goal. And then you're happy to lick strangers, throw pints across each other, cuddle a stranger. But you won't celebrate when you buy a house and your next investment property, and you won't celebrate when you've done 5 viewings, that it's amazing you've done 5 viewings, but you'll celebrate when a team that you're not even in scores a goal. Interesting. I could spend ages on that. Don't have time. Right, okay. Who has loved this morning by show of 2 hands? Right, they are the distinctions of the wealthy, my friends. Score yourself out of 10 on each. 3 areas that you can look to improve in it. Those of you that will join me on my training on VIP, we're gonna smash that out. I'm gonna get you to 8, 9, and 10 at all of them, because it changes your life as well as changing your property journey and everything else. This is life-changing stuff. I love it. The distinctions of the wealthy. Right. I make it 11:30. Here's what we're gonna do. When we come back, we're gonna shift gears again. You're gonna love this next session, I promise you. In the next session, when we come back, we're gonna work on what's the biggest singular thing that stops people getting financially free? What is getting in the way and stopping people getting financially free? So you're aware of it. Awareness is the first step to not doing it yourself. And we're going to work on that, right? And then after that, I'm going to work with you on this 3x4 plan. So if I'm sat with someone and they say, I've got an hour, tell me how to get financially free, this 3x4 plan. Realistically, lunch is going to be about 1:30. So if you get hungry at midday, grab a sandwich now, please, or eat something now, okay? So can I ask you, full of energy, so go take a walk, get some water in you, some fresh air, whatever you need. Can you be back here promptly? Don't log off. You'll have to log all the way back in. Back here promptly, full of energy, full of beans with your cameras on at 11:50, my friends, 11:50. If you want to sign up to Property Mentorship Academy, it is still available. A couple of people have messaged me privately about it. Adam will put the link in the chat. Go grab a space. And you can still get that day at my house. It will say in red that you can't get it if you go to that page, if it's not available anymore, but go have a look. I think it is. Okay, I'll see you soon, team. 11:50. 11:50. See you shortly. See you shortly. This is what you came for. This is what you came for.
Don't tell me this is all for nothing. I can only tell you one thing. On the nights you feel outnumbered, baby, I'll be out there somewhere. I see everything you can be. I see the beauty that you can't see. On the nights you feel outnumbered, baby, I'll be out there somewhere. I could've Should've showed you all the scars at the start, but that was always the most difficult part. See, I'm in love with how your soul's a mix of chaos and art, and how you never try to keep them apart. I wrote some words and then I stared at my feet, became a coward when I needed to speak. I guess love took on a different kind of meaning for me, so when I go, just know it kills me to leave. To all the stars that light the road, don't ever leave that girl so cold. Never let me down, just lead me home. Don't tell me this is all for nothing. I can only tell you one thing. On the nights you feel outnumbered, baby, I'll be out there somewhere. I see everything you can be, I see the beauty that you can't see. On the nights you feel outnumbered, baby, I'll be out there somewhere. But there's beauty here that's yet to depart. There's still a song inside the halls in the dark. I'll come for you if you just stay where you are, and I'll always hold your hand in the car. There'll be days when it's difficult, but I ask you to never leave behind the reciprocal. We're past that, love is not designed for the cynical, so we have that, we can have that. To all the stars that light the road, don't ever leave that girl so cold. Never let me down, just leave me home. Don't tell me this is all for nothing. I can only tell you one thing. On the nights you feel outnumbered, baby, I'll be out there somewhere. I see everything you can be, I see the beauty that you can't see. On the nights you feel outnumbered, baby, I'll be out there somewhere. I can only tell you one thing. On the nights you feel outnumbered, baby, I'll be out there somewhere. I see everything you can be, I see the beauty that you can't see. On the nights you feel outnumbered, baby, I'll be out there somewhere. Baby, I'll be out there somewhere, somewhere, somewhere. Baby, I'll be out there somewhere, somewhere. You're a sky, 'cause you're a sky full of stars. I'm gonna give you my heart, 'cause you're a sky, 'cause you're a sky full of stars. 'Cause you light up the park. I don't care, go on and tear me apart. I don't care if you do. Cause in the sky full of stars, I think I saw you. you hallelujah. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch. Come on. Don't believe me, just watch. 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 Hey, 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 oh! Stop. Wait a minute. Fill my cup, put some nigga in it. Take a sip, sign the check. Julio, get the stretch. Right to Harlem, Hollywood, Jackson, Mississippi. If we show up, we gon' show out. Smoother than a fresh drop skipping. I'm too hot. Call the police and the fireman. I'm too hot. Make a dragon wanna retire, man. I'm too hot. Bitch, say my name, you know who I am. I'm too hot. And my band bought that money. Break it down. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch. Come on. Don't believe me, just watch. 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 Hey, 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 oh! Before we leave, let me tell y'all a little something. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. I said uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Come on, dance, jump on it. If you sexed and flown it. If you freak dead and own it. Don't brag about it, come show me. Come on, dance, jump on it. If you sexed and flown it. Well, it's Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe it, just watch. Come on. Don't believe me, just watch. 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 Hey, 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 oh! Let's go. Make no excuses now. I'm talking here and now. I'm talking here and now. Let's go. Your time is running out. I'm talking here and now. I'm talking here and now. It's not about what you've done, it's about what you're doing. It's all about where you're going, no matter where you've been. Let's go.
Welcome back, team. I'm gonna challenge you to keep working on that, right? I'm gonna challenge you to keep working on that. We've got one session left today. Let's come back with the biggest energy possible after lunch and explode your rooms. So, but welcome back. I know a couple of you there like secretly turning your cameras back on now. You were like, I don't have to dance. I'll turn my camera on afterwards. Okay, we'll get you moving. And for those of you dancing, thank you. It's great to always have good energy, right? So let's get these cameras back on so I can be seeing you, please. It's always great to be able to see you and see who it is that I'm working with and who I'm speaking to. So fantastic. So raise your hand if you enjoyed this morning's session. Just by show of hands. Brilliant. And raise your hand if you'd like to know the 3x4 plan to getting financially free. The 3 steps and 4 steps to getting financially free. Brilliant. You're in the right room. That's exactly what we're going to be working on, what we're going to be covering as we work our way through this next session. So I've got a number of things actually that I'm going to be covering and sharing with you in this next session that I think you'll really like. So now, just before we do that, I'll just very quickly, I've been asked to put back up the pyramid of wealth triangle. Somebody wanted to just grab a picture of it. So if I just click through, remember this is all part of a safe, secure portfolio plan. These 10 key areas that you need to master to an 8, 9 or 10 out of 10. Do you remember yesterday morning? It might seem a long time ago. We've covered a lot of ground, but we covered those areas. We've been spending time in the Confident Investment Formula, and there's that image that I'll just pop back up for you, and I'll just leave it up for 30-40 seconds. So if you're wanting to grab a screen grab or grab a photo of that, just grab it really quickly so that you've definitely got that in place. So quick shout out for Property Mentorship Academy. Just those couple of spaces left with the bonuses at my house. So another I think a couple have gone this morning. So yeah, just 2 places left. So if you're wanting to grab those, you've got the link. Team, can you put it in the chat again? But yeah, you can definitely buy it later and pay the normal $3,991 and not get all the bonuses. That's cool. If you want that event offer, you've got that there. So okay, I'm going to assume you've taken the picture. 2 other quick announcements and then we'll get into the detail. So quite a few people have asked my team about the retreat that we run. So you must have seen it on social media or seen it in different ways and formats and heard me speaking about it. So I'm not here to go through that. I'm not going to spend any time on it. But just for those that are asking, if you want to know any more about it, you can speak to Devon or you can speak to Danny or Grant or one of the team. So just speak to one of the team and they can give you more information about it. But in very brief terms, the retreat for 2025, 3 days, 2 nights. We work on your personal mindset. We try work on how to achieve even more with lot less work. So this is away from the property side, working on you as a human being. We spend lots of time on relationships with intimate others, with peer group, with other people. Your 6 human needs, you may not know what those are. Breaking down walls, building a plan for the rest of the year and beyond. And then we go into how you manage your time, planning and setting up, and you leave that 3-day retreat with a plan. And they're run generally by myself and one of the other speakers in the Insight group, Frank, who is my JV partner that I'm buying 100 properties with, and we spend those 3 days together with you and kind of work on all of that. So hotel and food and all included, £5,000 plus VAT. So if that's something that interests you, speak to Danny, Devon, Grant, speak to one of the team, and they'll be able to kind of walk you through that and give you some more information on it. And there's just an idea of what last year's retreat looked like, and some magical times that we spent together. So, okay. So the other thing is, people have asked about my VIP package. They've said, Aaron, how does your VIP work? We sent you a WhatsApp this morning. So in your inbox, WhatsApp inbox, those of you that have been WhatsApping with us, we sent a WhatsApp with the VIP brochure in there. VIP is my high level program. So if you go to PMA, it's great, but I really want high level. I want to have more intimate time with Aaron and get stuck in more with Aaron. Then that's in your WhatsApp inbox, just so you know you've got that and you're able to have a look at that and kind of walk your way through that if that's what you want to do. So, okay. There's the announcements. Let's get stuck back into the detail now, okay? So what we're going to do to start this session off, okay, I want to just dive back in to this safe, secure portfolio plan, okay? And we're just going to spend a little bit of time just backing Be Your Own Bank. You know, when we were spending time in this blue payment area, the pay-to-play principles and the proven profit multiplier. And yesterday I shared with you this image of Barack Obama, which could have been any number of wealthy people. They all love other people's money. And we talked about, didn't we, the guaranteed interest model, okay, over yesterday and this morning, the guaranteed interest model and the 50-50 JV, okay? But what I wanted to spend some time with you on, we also talked about, didn't we, using a property identity. Okay, so I told you the story of Andy and using the peer group, and I shared with you Andy's property identity and how you can use that property identity to help you move forward, okay, and then the story of Lorraine. So we spent time on all of that, but what I want to do is just spend a little bit of time, because I saw the questions that were coming in. I just thought I'd spend a little bit of time with you on how you secure those loans and how you protect the other party and protect you and how you bring that up. Now, this is, at VIP, we're together 6 times over the year minimum for 2 days every time. And at every one of those 2 days events when we're together, we work on this, right? So I can't possibly, in a 2-day event with you, do loads and loads of detailed dive on Be Your Own Bank. But what I can do is just give you a bit more of a framework, okay? So we're going to use our property identity, that 10-second piece I taught you about. We're going to put that out to the world, right? And we're going to start to trigger other people to be interested in speaking to me. You know, you say the property identity, they either go, yes, me, I'm interested, or maybe me, but actually maybe one of my friends, or they go, no, not me. So we get people interested with this 3-sentence piece, okay, that I just showed you Andy's example. I'll show you some more examples later on, right? So once they're interested, we get in conversation. Now, the mistake that most people make is as soon as you hear someone's got money and you need to raise money, guess what you do? Oh, you put the money in, I'll put the time in, we'll do it, right? And you're an absolute freak show, right? Has anyone ever been to a networking event and met someone like this before, just by show of hands? So I know I'm not lonely. Okay, hang on, let's just check our arms are working. Anyone ever met someone like this by show of hands? Right, we have, haven't we? Right, if you go to networking, there'll be people that are pitching, almost like you're encouraging, they're trying to sell you a TV, right, okay? And they're pitching at you like that. And that's just a massive mistake, because you're like, stay away, right? Who are you? Right, that doesn't lead to business. So how do we do business with JV partners? We do business with JV partners by falling in love with them, by putting their needs first. I know we touched on this, but putting their needs first, falling in love with them. When you fall in love, you listen, you connect with them, right? And you shouldn't even be pitching to somebody if it's not a good solution to them. Catch that for a minute. You shouldn't be asking for their money unless you know, you've got to know them well enough that you know it's a win for them. Now, I can't unpack all of this with you now. We don't have time to unpack all of this with you now, but let's assume you learn to do that. You learn it somewhere else in training, or you learn it on one of my training programs, and we learn to fall in love, and we learn to get that connection with them, right? Get that connection, right? This property is a human being game, right? It's not a numbers game, it's a human being game, whether it's the tenant, the JV partner, the valuer, the guest, it's a human being game. So let's assume that's happened, and now they're potentially interested in giving you their money, right? Now, we covered yesterday, if I just get the whiteboard back up again, we covered yesterday, they could lend you the money, right? And if they were going to lend you the money, you could do guaranteed interest model. I don't know if you remember, right, but very simply, if someone lends you 100k and the interest rate's 5%, you're going to pay them £5,000 a year, right? The interest rate's higher, you pay them more, lower, you pay them less. Okay, I'm not teaching this now, we covered it yesterday, right? And then we talked about the 50-50 JV, didn't we? And being able to JV with somebody and it being shared 50-50, or however you choose to split it up, 75-25, etc., right? But how do you structure this and secure this? And that's what I just thought I'd spend a little bit of time on right now. Okay. So first of all, let's just work on the left-hand side of that grid on the guaranteed interest model. They may come to you and say, what security will I get? Okay. You people are property people. You're spending time learning about property. If you were lending your money to somebody, you might think, oh, I need some security. So if they don't pay me back, I need to be secured against something. Does this make sense by show of hands? But what I want you to understand is not everybody's like you. So do you know what the most common form of security that I give for my JV partners loans when it's guaranteed interest model? Do you know what the most common form of security that I provide is? None. No security. That is the most common. So if I go back to my whiteboard, right, offer number one is no security, because the majority of people don't even think to ask about it. I've got money at the moment that I've borrowed from someone, £1 million with no security. I've got another 700k with no security, another 500 with no. These aren't stupid people, right? But they started with 100k and it became 200, then it became 500, then, right? No security in place. So don't offer it unless they're asking for it. Don't push security into the conversation because it just makes it more complicated, right? So no security, right? What's the next level, right? The next level of security is something called a second charge, right, on, and I'm going to call it on the buy-to-let, but you could write down it's hard for me to write on here, but second charge on the subject property, the property you're borrowing the money from. Well, what does a second charge mean, okay? Well, if we get a buy-to-let property, and for very easy numbers, let me assume it's worth 100k, right? And the bank are going to lend you £75,000. The bank will want first charge here, right? So if you don't pay the mortgage, they want to be able to repossess the house, and first charge means they get first dibs at the money, okay? So they get the first £75,000. And realistically, right, by the time they've paid the estate agents, the solicitors, collected some fees that they're going to charge you, they might end up recouping about £85,000, probably 82 or 83, but let's call it 85,000 with all the fees and everything else. So if the property actually gets sold for 100, you know, if you get repossessed for some reason and the property is sold for 100,000, then what we have here is an extra 15,000 that is available, and the second charge means you get what's left. Second charge means that investor, if you didn't pay them back and they repossessed you, they can repossess you or the bank can. Either can push for a repossession, but they would get the second tranche of money. Okay? So if they've lent you £40,000, you know, 25k deposit plus solicitors and stamp and a bit of refurb money to get into the deal, right? This protects about 15,000 of the 40. Okay, does that make some sense by show of hands, team? Just by big strong hands so I can check in? Is this making sense? Okay, good. So if that's making sense, second charge on a buy-to-let, in that example I just gave you, protects about 15,000. So it doesn't fully protect them, but it gives them some protection. Okay, so what's our third option? Our third option, if they want security, right, is second charge on the buy-to-let plus second charge on another buy-to-let, right? That should say another buy-to-let, right? So that might now give them 15,000 on house number one and 15. So they're still not fully protected, but they might have £30,000 of protection. right? What's the fourth option? The fourth option is second charge on the subject buy-to-let. That could be a holiday, that could be HMO, whatever it is you've got, right? Plus second charge on your residential, on your own residential. Now, notice for a moment how you felt when I said that, right? Some of you felt nervous when I said that, or fearful, okay? You should never, ever, ever be borrowing someone's money if you're not going to pay it back. You need to look after their money better than your own money, right? So if you give second charge, I don't mind what I give second charge on because I'm going to pay them back. And if I'm going to pay them back, the charge is irrelevant. The charge is not important. Does this make some sense by show of hands? So they can have a second charge on my resident. I mean, these days, right, when I started out, I'd give a second charge on my resident for 50k or 100k. These days, I live in a £3 million house with a lot of equity in it. I want at least £500,000 for a second charge on my resident. Yeah? But my point is, I know I'm always going to pay them back. So it's not an issue for me to give that charge to somebody, right? It's only an issue if you don't pay, and we're going to pay. We're going to pay. Makes some sense by wave of arms. I know you're in your heads a little bit, making some sense. Good, good, good. Okay. So, and then their levels of security, right? If you've got a totally unencumbered property, unencumbered means no debt on it, right? Then you could give them a first charge on that. But don't do that. Go refinance that. Take the money out and buy more houses with it, is my recommendation to you. Okay? So they're different levels of security that we can put in place to back someone, right? Now, to finish this little bit of mini extra teaching off in here, I just wanted to help because of some of the questions that had come up, right, that I'd seen. The other bit of teaching I want to give you in here is how you structure this deal if it's a 50-50, right? If it's a 50-50, so if me and one of you are doing a 50-50 deal together, we could just buy them jointly in our name, okay? So I'm going to put AC for me and you, right? And we could just buy them in our personal names. Now, what decides whether they go in personal name or limited company is the tax stuff, which we'll cover this afternoon, and the free gift I'm going to give you, right? So it could be AC and you in personal names. Now, if we do it jointly, we end up financially linked. We could get a limited company. So the top up here is limited companies, right? AC could be a 50% shareholder, and you could be a 50% shareholder, right? But we're now financially linked. So if you go bankrupt, shouldn't affect my credit file, but it might do and cause me problems. If I go bankrupt, it might affect you. So I only like to get 50-50 fully involved if I really, really know them well, like really well. Like it might be a brother or a best friend or someone like that. Your other option, which is a bit more complex, and this is not deep dive, I'm just giving you a feel for it, right? It can still be 50-50, but we could just put the property in AC's name or AC Limited's name if it's going to go in a company. Again, the tax bracket would decide whether to use AC Limited or AC, right? But then we use a document called the profit share agreement. Okay, the profit share agreement. Those of you who've joined PMA, right, and VIP people, you'll get this in the Ultimate Document Store, right? The profit share agreement, I spent £2,500 on it, but that document will protect the interests of the other person, in this example, you. So you're entitled to 50% of all refinances, 50% of capital growth, 50% of rental profits, but it sits in my name at that point in time, which means we don't end up financially linked. Here's the beautiful thing, I'm happy to be on either side of that. So if my JV partner goes, well, I'd rather not have everything in your name, right, it can go in your name then. So if you're lending me the money, let's put the property fully in your name. Now, they need to be happy. If the property's in someone's name, they have to get the mortgage in the same name. So they need to be happy to get a mortgage as well to do it that way. And I'll use the profit share agreement to protect me. Right? So then you're not, if I run off to the Bahamas, you own the house. You own all the equity. You've got everything. So I'm not, right? That will give people often a lot of peace of mind in the structures. These are 50-50s or 75-25s or whatever you go for. It doesn't have to be in a joint company or jointly in your joint names. You can use documentation to protect the relevant interest that you have in that property. It must be the right documentation, but you can do that. Okay? And what I'd urge you to do when you do that kind of deal as well, you have a partnership agreement, Again, very simple. There's one of those that costs about 1,500 quid in the Ultimate Auction Store, but you have a partnership agreement that defines the roles. Because if we're going to have a property together for the next 20, 30, 40 years, our lives are definitely going to change over that time. Let's get written down exactly what's my responsibility, what's your responsibility, and not just think about buying it in the first 3 months, but the responsibilities for the next, in 20 years' time, whose job is it to manage the letting agent? In 40 years' time, whose job is it to manage the guest complaint if you've got guests? You get my point by show of hands here, if this makes sense. So this isn't the deep dive. What I'm trying to show you, my friends, right? You know this be your own bank stuff. There's a lot of you still sat there going, it's okay for him, or it's okay for them. You can raise the money. If you need to raise money to get deals done, you can do it. There's a recipe. You just don't know the recipe yet, and you haven't got all the ingredients of the recipe, right? But I've got people, right? I've got someone that's less than 18 years old, can't even get a mortgage in their name, and they're on 50 grand a year. They're older than that now, but less than 18 on 50 grand a year because they JV'd money, and it wasn't from family acquaintances either. At less than 18. Because they learned the recipe. If they can learn the recipe, I've got people in their 80s who've learned the recipe and raising JV money. If they can learn the recipe, so can you. You just have to decide it's important and that you want the recipe. Does this make sense by show of hands? That's the beauty of this. Nothing's that complicated when you got the recipe. Any of us could make an iPhone if we have the parts and the recipe. Yeah? Any of us can make a cake. Some of us on here are brilliant cake makers, and some of us, right, are not. But if I got the recipe and the ingredients, I could make a great cake pretty quickly. I just don't choose to do it. And your choice in Be Your Own Bank is, are you going to get over your fears and get on with this and get this done if you're short of cash to do it, right? Or are you going to let the money hold you back forever until you win the lottery, right? Or you're 55 years old and you inherit some money, right? Or are we going to get on with it now? I know some of you are past 55, right? So let's get on with it now, okay? Is this useful by show of thumbs, team? Just to check in, useful. That's great, fantastic. Okay, so just wanted to cover that bit. I just wanted to add another layer to the cake, right? In terms of understanding that bit, okay? Finally, just paying those debts back, paying that money back is not as complex as you think either, okay? If we're going to pay someone back, if we borrow 100,000, and we covered this yesterday, but if you've only got 3 months to pay it back, you might be stressed about it. I can do that because I know I can raise the money again tomorrow from someone else to pay them back, right? Notice what I just said. So you can pay them back from cash flow. You can pay them back from buying at discount, and you can pay them back from equity growth, but you can never be sure that the equity growth will happen that particular year, right? But you can definitely pay them back by refinancing. You're very happy to refinance your residential mortgage on your residential house because it's what you were brought up to do. Refinancing for you means just getting a new lender and moving the mortgage, right? Most of you who've got buy-to-lets, you're very happy to refinance your buy-to-lets. Just remind me who's already got buy-to-lets again, just by show of hands so I can see where are we at with this. So a lot of you got buy-to-lets, right? You refinance those, don't you? You don't go, oh no, in 2 years when that deal ends, I have to pay it all off. And you just refinance it to a new lender, right? Same with Be Your Own Bank money. 95% of the time they never want it back. They go, oh, it's 3 years gone already, can we go again? Right, 95% of the time. And if they do want it back, you just sub someone else in. You go, I'll borrow 100 from them and use that to pay them back. Now I've got a new lender for the next 3 years. Now you can plan to pay it back. You can use cash flow, equity growth and everything and pay it back if that's your goal. I'm not saying you have to carry this debt, right? But equally, while you're in growth phase, why plan to pay it back? Makes some sense by show of thumbs, Steve. Making some sense. Good. But you need the recipe. You need the recipe. You need the steps of the recipe, which I can teach you, right? And just to follow the steps with precision. With precision, follow those steps. Okay. So, let's shift gears. Okay, so shake your bodies out a little bit. Shake your bodies out, see? Okay, that's cool. Thank you. Like a bit of a dance. So, what we're going to do now in this next bit, I want to talk to you about the biggest singular thing that stops people getting financially free. What is it that stops most people? Why do people get stuck with this financial freedom thing, okay? Would you like to know by show of hands, by the way? Would this be useful, right? Okay, so I thought so. So let's start with, let me throw the slides back up, okay? I just want to start with proposing to you that part of the story is goals. Now, don't panic. I aren't saying the biggest thing that stops you getting financially free is written goals. That's not my answer. It's not that simple. But just listen for me for one moment about written goals. Okay, one moment. If you have a goal in your head versus no goal at all, studies have proven people are 3 times more successful with where they want to get to. That's a goal in your head versus no goal at all, 3 times more successful. But did you know that if you have a written goal versus a goal in your head, 8 times more likely to get to the outcome? What that means is if you have a written goal versus no goal at all, you are 24 times more likely to get an outcome. Don't take my word for it. Tonight, go on Google goals, all the stats, all the research, all the data, very easily available. 24 times more likely to achieve something if you've got a written goal versus no goal at all, right? As far as I am concerned, my friends, I need to say no more on goals than what I've just said. You need written goals. You need written goals. Now, when someone joins my VIP, for example, I'm so serious about this, I'm going to give you a little bit more right now. What you need, in my opinion, is something called a 1-3-5 plan. Jot that down, I'm going to explain. 1-3-5 plan. Okay? And I'm doing this real quickly for now. This isn't the main teaching piece here. This isn't what gets in the way. But you do need written goals. 1-3-5. What's the 1? The 1 is a burningly clear vision of success. This can be a 5-year plan, a 3-year plan. For most people, it's a 1-year plan at a time. It can be a 3-month plan if you're full time on it. But if you're doing 3 or 5 hours a week at this, maybe a 1-year plan, right? And it is, if you have a following wind and everything goes really well, what does brilliant look like? That's the vision. Not I'll be cautious and pessimistic and what if and what if. No, if you have a following wind and everything goes great, what does the vision look like? You need to program the brain with what the vision looks like. That's the 1. What's the 3 stand for? 3 objectives. What are the top 3 objectives that will get you to that vision? Now let's imagine the vision is getting to the top of Everest, right? You stand at the bottom of Everest and you will think, oh, these are the 3 most important things to get me to the top. But you've never been up Everest before. So you don't realise that on the left-hand side there's a sheer cliff face that you'll fall and die. On the right-hand side there's this crevice, you'll fall down and die, right? So your objectives aren't right. So how the heck do you get the right objectives? You get the right objectives either by working with an expert in property, that would be me, and I know how to get to the top of Everest and I can tell you the path, right? Just like the Sherpa would, right, with Everest, right? Or if you don't have that opportunity or you're not going to create it, what I will do, and I do this all the time, I'll do a sit. And for about 15-20 minutes, I'll imagine I already got there. I'll literally put myself in state. I've already got here. This is amazing. In a brilliant place. I've got to the top of Everest. And then I'll look back to where my life was and I go, what got me up here? And it's amazing what a different distinction you make looking back, having achieved it, than looking forward to try and get there. You identify often different objectives, right? So you've got to have 3 clear objectives. This isn't deep dive training, but I'm giving you a feel, right? Often in property, by the way, you might want to make a note. 1 is about finding the deals, 1 is about finding the money, and the 3rd is about your consistent action and how you're going to do that. But not always. So don't just automatically do that, but your objective. And then for each objective, what's the 5 stand for? 1-3-5. It's 5 stepping stone goals. Write down those words. 5 stepping stone goals. What do I mean by stepping stone goals? A stepping stone goal is when you do them one after the other. You don't do them all at once. So if I've got 3 objectives, 5 goals for each, I've got a total of 15 goals for the year. That's it, 15 goals. Anyone can do 15 goals if they get focused, but let's make it a lot simpler. The brain can't cope with 15. I don't know if you know this, but the brain goes 1, 2, 3, many. That's how most brains work. 1, 2, 3, many. You're taught when you teach people to teach them in blocks of 3. Sometimes I'm great at that, sometimes I'm not, by the way, right? But 1, 2, 3, many, right? So what we do, if we've got 5 goals for each objective, they're stepping stone goals, we would start, if next week you had 5 hours available to work on this, or 10 hours, or 40 hours, or 20 hours, or 3 hours, you'd only work on the first goal for objective 1, the first goal for objective 2, and the first goal for objective 3. That's it. You just work on those 3 goals. It keeps it simple now. When you've achieved one of the goals, it might be a learning goal, something you need to learn first. It might be an action goal. But when you've achieved the goal, you'd move to the second goal for that same objective. You're still only working on 3 goals in total, right? And you march your way through. But the bottom line is, if you've built a good plan at the beginning, clear vision, clear objectives, clear goals, as long as you get the goals done, you're going to get the objectives. And as long as you get the objectives done, you're going to get the vision. And that's financial freedom, if that's what you're after, or whatever it is you want to get greater. Right? 1, 3, 5 plan. Does this make sense by show of hands, team? Okay, great. I'm not here to teach that. I just wanted to give you a flavour, right? But that's the first thing I do with any of my students at VIP level, right? I'm like, if we're serious about this, I guarantee them they'll be on 50 grand a year within 2 years, right? They're investing 20K with me. I'm like, if we're doing this, right, then we need to get the outcome. Let's build a proper plan. A proper plan. And we put the plan together. They know I've seen it, signed off on it, or one of my coaches have. And they're like, right. As long as they then implement the plan, they get the outcome. So I didn't bring this up, though, to talk about goals. Here's what I brought it up for. I learned about the value of goals about 18 years ago now, approximately. And 18 years ago, I'm like a massive action taker. I'm like, right, goals, got to have goals. And I also learned the value of peer group. I'm like, got to have great people around you, got to write goals, got to have... So each New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, we'd get really great friends together. We'd all have written our goals for the year ahead, and we'd share those goals, right? And we'd go through those goals together. And I was a massive action taker, but yet each year I still kept failing. And it was driving me crazy. I was like, I'm doing what I've been told about writing goals. I'm doing what I've been told about having a peer group, but I still keep falling over. I still keep not getting my outcomes. There was one year I'd written 5 flipping pages of goals. Ridiculous. I didn't know about 135 back then. I couldn't even remember by the end of January what my goals were. My friends had no chance. The principal was, we'd hold each other to account. 5 pages of the damn things, right? But that wasn't the reason I was failing. That was a problem, but it wasn't the reason I was failing. Why was I failing? Why did I keep falling over and not getting the outcome? Okay, here's why. Here's why, my friends, right? My identity. My identity. Write that down. I'm going to explain my identity. And I'm going to give you something else to write down. And team, if we can put it in the chat. So my identity. The other thing I want you to write down, then I'm going to explain, is this quote by Tony Robbins. Okay? Tony Robbins says, the strongest force in the human personality, the strongest force in the human personality is the need, and you want to underline that word, the need. The strongest force in the human personality is the need, underlined, to stay consistent with how we identify ourselves. The strongest force in the human personality is the need to stay consistent with how we identify ourselves. So what the heck does Aran mean by his identity was getting in the way? What the heck does Tony mean with this quote? And the team will have put that quote in the chat now, okay? I want you to imagine, if you will, remember, I'm teaching you here, in my opinion, the biggest singular thing that stops people getting financially free. I want you to imagine, if you will, by the time you are 7, 8 or 9 years old, you are more or less programmed. Normally by the significant adults in your life at that time. So for most people it's their parents, but it may be other significant adults, right? And what do I mean by programmed? What I mean by programmed is your programming is in you on what is a great relationship and what is not a great relationship to be in. What is great health and fitness, what is bad health and fitness. What is great financial income, what is bad financial income. What is great spirituality, what is bad. It is programmed in you. And I want you to imagine, if you would, right, you know, in a room you'll have a thermostat. And if you've got aircon and heating in that room, the thermostat is designed to keep the temperature consistent, right? If the room gets too hot, it kicks on the aircon, it cools it down. If the room gets too cold, it kicks in the heating, it warms it up. Okay? Does that make sense? I know it's pretty basic, but does that make sense what I mean by a thermostat, by show of hands, right? So I want you to imagine, if you will, that you were programmed to be a 20-degree. 20 degrees in relationship, 20 degrees in finance, 20 degrees in health, 20 degrees in fitness, 20 degrees in financial results, right? You were programmed to be a 20-degree. Okay? Now, let me try and give you an analogy that you'll be able to connect with, okay? I don't know if this has ever happened to you. Have you ever, like, had a friend or an acquaintance, right? And you looking at their relationship and you go, I have no idea why they stay together. That is just correct. There's no way I'd stay in that relationship. I have no clue why they stay together. Anybody ever had this experience before? By big strong show of hands, put them up and hold them up and have a look around so you know that it's normal, right? By the way, if you haven't put your hand up, maybe it's people looking in at your relationship, by the way, just so you know, just so you know. Now, listen, if that's someone you're relatively close to or you care enough about, you might even go and have a conversation, might you? You might say, why the heck are you staying with them, right? It just doesn't make sense to stay. Here's what I want you to understand, my friends, right? If you are looking in on someone's relationship, they are staying in it, but it isn't going well and you wouldn't stay in it, it's because your programming setting is higher than theirs. You might be a 20-degree and they're programmed at 13 degrees. So even though they sometimes get crying, right? Or sometimes they even get hit or emotionally hit all the time, right? They stay in it because they were brought up that even if it's not perfect, I stay in it. I'm a 13-degree. Does this make some sense so far by show of hands? And I want you to understand is, whatever conversation you have with them, however logical it seems, and they can see the evidence that they can have a better relationship, they're never ever going to change unless you can help them change their beliefs and values about themselves and in effect their programming. And that is flipping hard because they were programmed 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago for some of you, right? So if you manage to change their programming to be a 14-degree, probably not a lot of change, but 15 or 16, 17, at some point they're going to go, no way am I staying in this 13-degree relationship. Absolutely no way. Either you need to get better partner and we're going to live up here at 17 degrees, or I'm checking out and going to find a 17-degree somewhere else. Right? This is what happens. This is what is driving you, right? In all areas of your life, your beliefs and values and your thermostat setting, right? In the areas of your life where you're settling because of your thermostat setting. Now, I just want to help you see it the other way around, right? Because that's an example of someone with a low thermostat setting, right? Has anyone ever watched one of those American films where the high school sweetheart, right? And I don't mean the one where she's a cow. I mean, she's the high school sweetheart, prom queen. She's gorgeous inside. She's gorgeous on the outside. She's like the dream ticket, right? And what normally happens in the film is her and the geek start to fall in love, don't they? So the geek and the high school dream sweetheart start to fall in love, right? But then during the story, one of them messes it up. Who normally messes it up? Is it the dream high school sweetheart that messes it up, or the geek? Which one? Shout out loud so I can hear you in Wilmslow. Which one? Right? It's the geek, isn't it? It's the geek that will mess it up. It's crazy, right? Why? Because if the geek is programmed at 20 degrees and now they're living a 30, 35-degree relationship, right? Do you remember the quote I told you, right? The strongest force is the need, underlying the need to stay consistent with how we identify ourselves. If you identify as a 20-degree and you start living a 30-degree life, you will self-sabotage and pull yourself back to 20 degrees. That's the geek causing a breakup, right? The strongest force in the human personality is the need to stay consistent how we identify ourselves. That's the person who's a 13-degree that logically can see it can be better, is upset 3 times a week and crying at least once a week and sometimes getting hit, but they still stay in it because there's no stronger force than the need to stay consistent with how you identify yourself. And if I'm a 13-degree, I've got to stay at 13 degrees. And I know you might think this sounds crazy, what I'm sharing with you, right? But it absolutely, when you start to understand this, it is running all of the patterns in your life and your friends' lives and your family's lives and everybody else's. Does this make some sense so far by show of hands? Just so I check in, right? So why the heck is Aran bringing this up at a property event? Why am I talking about it at a property? Here's why. I want to have a look at now the financial area. Okay, so let's have a look at and think about the financial area. So in the area of finance, right, if I get the whiteboard up and we have a little look and think about this, in the area of finance, okay, let's imagine you were programmed, and everyone on me is different, so I'm not going to be able to get this right for all of you, but let's program, you were programmed at 20 degrees, and for you, 20 degrees was between 40 and 60K. I've just randomly picked those numbers, right? So between 40 and 60K, right? You see people, don't you? And they leave school at 16, down here, bottom left, or like college at 18, or uni at 21, right? And they're working their butts off. They're working. Sometimes they have a second job, even a third job. In their main job, they're trying to get a promotion, right? And you'll meet that person in a late 20s or early 30s normal pattern, right? Late 20s, early 30s. And then you meet the exact same person 15 or 20 years later, and they're still earning similar money that they were earning in their late 20s or early 30s. It will have gone up with inflation, right? But they're earning similar money, right? Has anyone ever met somebody like that? Just so I know, by show of hands team, that you've met people like this. Big strong show of hands if you've met someone like that, right? And it might even be you. It might even be you. So why am I bringing this up? Why is this something that I'm getting you to think about? Well, here's why. Here's why. If we went and spoke to this person and we said, well, what happened? What changed here, right? They would share with you some of their stories. Now, by stories, I don't mean good ones or bad ones. I just mean their stories, right? So they might say, for example, I met my spouse and it was far more important to spend time with them than keep progressing in my career. Or they might say, we had kids, it was far more important to spend time with them than progressing in my career, right? Whatever their stories are, not good or bad, just their stories, right? Now you'll meet someone else, they might have gone to school with someone else, and they don't stop anywhere near that. They carry on until they're earning 80 to 90K up here, right? 80 to 90K. Right? And they just carried on and on and on, right? But then, late 20s, early 30s, they then changed, and it went like this. And kind of inflation kept moving it up, but it virtually stayed there, right? And if you went and interviewed that person and said, what happened here, they would share their story. It'd be similar, but different. So they might say, I met my spouse, but I had to provide for them, so I had to earn more. Or we had children, so I had to provide for them. I had to work more, right? They were just programmed, in this example, for example, they might have been programmed to be a 30 degree in finance. A 30 degree in finance. Does this make some sense by show of hands team, just to check in? Making some sense to you, right? So I've got a question for you. Do you remember over the last couple of days when I talked to you about people being comfortable? I said to you, who on here is comfortable? Just remind me, who on here is currently a bit comfortable? Just by show of hands, who's comfortable in your life? Life's comfortable, right? When your life is comfortable, right, in finance and in the finance area, what you're describing to me is you're saying, I've achieved what I was programmed to be, right? So if I go back to this 20 degree example, I'm going to use, what color shall I use? I'll use this light blue color, this 20 degree example, right? If you're comfortable, what you're saying is, I'm earning, and we've got the money that I was programmed to have. I love a hungry student, like I've said before. A hungry student who's down here, right? I tell them what to do. I say, here's the recipe, here's the 10 steps, and guess what? They go do all the 10 steps, and they follow them precisely. But you guys and gals that are comfortable, I go, here's the 10 steps, the recipe, and you do part 1 and part 2, and you go, oh, part 3, a bit uncomfortable, I won't do that. You do part 4, part 5, Part 6, bit uncomfortable, I won't do that. 7, 8, don't do 9. And then you wonder why you can't cook a cake. You've just missed 3 ingredients out or 3 steps of cooking a cake. What a surprise, it's a blancmange, right? Or a mess, right? So here's the challenge for you, my friends, okay? By the way, is this just by big, strong show of hands, right? I just want to check in. Is this making sense to you so far by big, strong show of hands team? Right, brilliant. So here's the challenge. Here's the challenge. And this is what I am inviting you in the next 12 months. I invite you to kick the ass of this challenge. What do I mean by kicking the ass of this challenge? Excuse my language, right? I'm inviting you. The challenge is that you logically know, if you don't already know it, which most of you do now over the last day and a half, but by the end of today, you will definitely know how to make another 50,000 a year from property. You know it's possible. You know whether you're starting with no money or a lot of money, no experience or a lot of experience. There are strategies out there, proven strategies. You just need to learn them and follow them, and you can become financially free. You can be on another 50 grand a year. But here's the problem. If you're programmed to be 40 to 60K, right, and now you can make another 50K, which would put you on 90 to 110, right, 110, top left there in light blue, right, guess what's going to happen? You're going to start to get, and this is what happens, people get a property, and then they get a second property, and then they get a third property, and they flipping self-sabotage. They mess it up for themselves. They literally self-sabotage. A tenant doesn't pay the rent or trashes the property, and they go, oh, property, what a stupid thing, why did I invest in this? It's too stressful, it's too much hard work, and they were nearly there. They were just about to take off, and they stop or they quit. I think I shared the data with you, didn't I? Right? 98% of people, write it down if you didn't before, 98% of people never get more than 3 properties. 98% never get more than 3. By the way, 98% of people that consider investing in property, like seriously consider it, attend events, not with me, a lot better success rate, but attend a free event or some webinars, like they're seriously interested, right? 98% never buy one. So if you've got more than 3 already, you're already in the 2% of the 2% club, 2% that buy one, and then 2% that get more than 3. But what I do not want you to be, my friends, I do not want you to spend these 2 days with me and not end up in that 2% of 2% club. I mean, what a waste that would be. But the biggest thing that's going to get in your way is this. It's your previous programming that's been programmed in you, right? It's why when people join my VIP and I've got more time with them, every time we're together, we work on this, right? In the next 12 months, my VIP members, as a bonus event, like just a freebie that I throw in on top of the core training, 3 days, like purely on this, right? On relationships with intimate other, relationships with peer group, on focusing on the positive and moving forward, on mind, body and soul and aligning them all, on your personal growth, right? 3 days on that, and many of them come on the UK retreat as well. That's like 6 days plus the time we spend at VIP. Right? Why? Because it's what shifts gear. 20% of success is what you do. I can teach you the recipes inside out till the cows come up. Right? I'm brilliant at the recipes, and that sounds arrogant, but I've been doing it long enough now. I've bought enough houses for me and other people and helped enough people. I know the recipes, I can teach you the recipes. But if you don't learn to shift this, you're going to self-sabotage yourself. You're going to get in your way. Okay? Does this make some sense by way of Van? Now, at the moment, by the way, congratulations, off you go. Let's finish the event. I've just told you you've got a massive problem and I've given you no solutions. Thanks very much, Aran, right? Thanks for that, right? So, what are some solutions? Now, again, I need time with you. Please give me your time, right? And I can give you a lot more, right? But if I don't get the time, let's just try and help, right? If this is going to be your last time with me, don't make that happen. But if it is, right, what could you do? Well, one of the things you could do, one of the teams will put it in the chat, I'm sure, one of the team members, you could go get a book. There's a book, great book by a guy called T. Harv Eker. Can we put it in the chat, team, just so that I don't have to spell it on the board? So T. Harv Eker, brilliant book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. T. Harv gets it. That book is genius in this space, right? You could go on Google, YouTube, free stuff, and put in Tony Robbins' beliefs and values. Don't have time to cover it now. I do a great teaching piece on this. But Tony Robbins' beliefs and values, because it's all these beliefs and values, by the way, that are programming you. It's all these beliefs and values that have made you who you are today, right? So once you start to understand them, you can start to work on them. So Tony Robbins' beliefs and values. Every 2 years, by the way, me and my wife spend over £15,000, travel around the world and spend 8 days away from the kids to work on our beliefs and values. Every 2 years. People go, you're stupid, you keep going back to the same program. No, we know how valuable it is. It changes the world. Changes your game. Changes your game. And then I teach all that stuff on the course. So Tony Robbins' beliefs and values, you could Google that and find some free videos on that. You could watch on Netflix. You could go on Netflix and look for I Am Not Your Guru, which is a Tony's a great mentor of mine, Tony Robbins. First 10 minutes, get past the Americanization of it, just get over yourself and plug in, right? But there's some pretty good genius in there, okay? You get a feel for it. So I Am Not Your Guru on Netflix. One of the things that my VIP members do is we work on something called a wealth identity. So I think I've got some slides on this, just let me double check. Yeah, I have. So let me just throw my slides back up and you could do this. So when people join me on VIP, we create the 135 plan, but then I get them to create a wealth identity, which is, your wealth identity is who you would program yourself to be. Because do you know what? We were all programmed when we were 7, 8 or 9 years old, right? Well, the bad bit about that is, that was so long ago. 7, 8 or 9 years old when we got programmed was so long ago, right? We didn't even program ourselves. We weren't even properly involved with that. So what if you were programming yourself? What would you choose your wealth identity to be? So let's have a look at this. Let me do a share on this, right? So here's a couple of examples that my VIP has wrote, like in the last couple of years, right? So here's one of them, right? And feel free to take photos or screen grabs if you want to, right? I am financially free, earning in excess of £40,000 per annum passive income. Nice. My peer group see me as a role model, brilliant, and I help others to achieve what I have achieved. I work for fun and earn more than ever from employment as I do what I enjoy only. And I send £10,000 per annum abroad to charitable causes. Who'd like a life like that, by the way, by show of hands? Who'd like a life like that? Yeah? A lot of people putting their hand up, a couple of you going, hang on a minute, I want more money than that, Aran. Right? Neither's right, it's what's right for you. The beauty of these, by the way, you can copy other people. Now, what do they do with their wealth identity? I'll show you another couple of examples in a minute, but what do they do with them? Right? What they do with their wealth identity is they put it as their screensaver on their computer or on their telephone, right? So they're seeing it all the time. They read it each morning. They might have it stuck on the back of the wardrobe door. A couple of my clients literally have got it on the ceiling. As they wake up in the morning, it's the first thing they see in the morning, it's the last thing they see at night above their bed. Right? It's up to you where you put it, right? But they're reading it regularly, so it's going into their brain. They're reprogramming themselves. It takes time, but, right? Let me show you another example. Here's example number 2, right? Again, another VIP here. I'm a property money making machine. I love that one. I absolutely love that one. So I'm a property money making machine. I love family lets and family lets love me. Clearly they're doing family lets, right? I buy 10 more properties every year, flipping half of them and keeping the others. I earn £60,000 per annum and grow my portfolio too. So they must be making the money through flipping and they're growing their portfolio. I love the line in black. I holiday when I want and where I want, spending time with family, friends and loved ones. Right? Who likes the idea of that wealth identity by show of hands, team? Yeah, I thought you might. I thought you might, right? Let me show you a final one. You might recognize this wealth identity, or you might recognize the individual. You might have spent some time with them over the last 24 hours. I'm an outstanding business owner, worth and earning 2 to 3 million per annum. My portfolio grows with a further 50 properties each year, and my clients buy over 1,000 every year. I'm an educated, articulate, money-making magnate with an outstanding financial and business peer group. My energy levels mean I own it. My determination, physiology and focus mean I own it. I attract the best of the best in the world who help me give more and more. I love the last line. The world is so much better because I came this way. The world is so much better because I came this way. Let me ask you a question, my friends, right? If that was your wealth identity and you believed in it, you got to believe in it, right? But if that was your wealth identity and you believed in it, would you be more or less likely to financially achieve? Show me with your hands. More or less likely if that was it? More or less likely? Right? More, right? So get one then. Get one. And I've shown you 3 examples. You can pinch bits out of them that you like and you can put together your one, right? But you need to be putting this stuff in your brain. You need to be focused on who you want to be. People say, when I get wealthy, I'll act wealthy. You need to start acting wealthy now and you'll be amazed how the wealth comes. You'll be amazed how the wealth comes. Okay? So, hopefully this is making sense, okay? Has that been useful so far by show of hands, Taylor, right? What I want you to get is this is one of your biggest blockers, right? Your connection with who you deserve to be. You were born to be amazing. You weren't born to be comfortable or average, right? What a gift life is. What a gift life is. To even be born, right? To even be born, you had to set off in a race, didn't you? Right? And you had to beat 8 million or whatever it was, other little swimmers in the race. You know what I'm saying, right? You already won your first race of your life and beat 8 million other little swimmers to be the first to get to the egg. To even be on this planet, you are amazing. By the way, you even had to set off in the right race. You set off in another race, another time of the month, you wouldn't have got there, would you? So you beat millions and millions to even be born, right? Now you're on the planet. Surely the planet deserves you to be the best version of you can be. To up your game, to step up your game, having given you that gift and had that gift. You've had the gift, my friends, right? Your heart just beats. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to rent it. You don't have to pay for it. It just beats and keeps you alive. This brain you have as a human being that is infinitely more progressed than any other brain on the planet, right? That you got as a gift. You didn't have to buy it, rent it, pay for it, right? How are you using this heart and this brain? Are you honouring the fact, whatever you believe in, are you honouring the fact that you got this gift every single flipping day, every hour, every minute, and going, I am going to be world class. I'm not going to compare with anybody else. I'm just going to be the best version of me I can possibly be. Because my challenge to you, my friends, and my invitation, right, is to step out of your comfort zone and live world class. Live the best version of you can be. And yes, that is sometimes scary. And yes, that does mean being outside your comfort zone, which can become fearful, right? But that's, as we've already covered, is where the magic happens. And you have got a choice. You can leave these 2 days and do absolutely nothing with them. And you'll go, oh, I had this great presentation, I learned some stuff off Aran, but what a waste of your time it will have been and a waste of my time if you do nothing with it, right? Or you can choose to own it going forward. You can choose to say, I was programmed, what a gift because it got me this far. What a gift. And I can go thank them for it. The good, the bad and the ugly, because we've all got good, bad and ugly programming, right? And I'll thank them for all of it. But now from this day forward, I'm going to work deliberately on my programming to become the person I was born to be, the person I'm able to become. Right? Because the only restriction is you. Okay? I know I'm talking with some passion and some of you going, it's gone crazy now, right? But does this make some sense by show of 2 hands, friends, right? I'm so passionate about this. This is what changes the game. So many people, by the way, join my VIP and you'll read the go on Trustpilot, right, and type in the Insight group and you'll see all the 5-star reviews. Loads of them are about property, but loads of them join VIP and go, the property was amazing, but it was a sub-story. Because he helped me with this and now this is amazing. And because when you change this, it doesn't only change your finance journey, it changes your health and well-being, it changes your spirituality, if that's what you want to be into, your fitness, your relationship with friends and family, your intimate other relationship, when you work on this. But if you choose never to work on this, guess what? Just stay comfortable, right? Lie on your deathbed and God or whoever you believe in goes, how's life been? Comfortable. Oh, brilliant. I'm glad I let you win the race. To live a comfortable life, right? Comfortable life. Yeah? Who wants comfort? Really? Is that what you really want? Okay. Does this make some sense by show of thumbs? Thank you for listening to me on that topic. It's something I'm passionate about, right? I'm just aware of time. I'm aware of time. So what I'm going to do is shift gears again. Okay, I'm going to shift gears again. I've been talking to you about your comfort zone, right? There's one more thing I want to talk to you about, and then we're going to go into this 3x4 plan to getting financially free, right? So I've talked about comfort zone. I want to talk to you about making decisions. Making decisions, my friend, right? Who on here is sometimes or often a bit of a perfectionist, right? By a big strong show of hands, right? Put the hands up high so we can see you, right? By the way, I, as in nature, am as well, right? Here's what I want you to know. You people that just put your hands up, you are doomed. You are doomed, right? What do I mean by that, right? You're human. Human is to err, right? And you're a flipping perfectionist. You're doomed. By the way, if that is not bad enough, imagine, just imagine having to live with you. Imagine having to live with you. You're a perfectionist, so you expect them to be perfect, but they're human, so they make mistakes every day. Horrendous. Please bear in mind I'm a perfectionist at heart too, right? Here's the trouble with a perfectionist. You never move on. You never take the next step because it has to be perfect before you move. And then it holds you back and it holds you back and it holds you back. Far rather the adventurer who takes 10 steps, makes 5 errors and learns from them. Don't make an error and make the same error again and again and again. That's just stupid, right? But you're not stupid. But make an error and learn, make an error and learn. So they make 5 great steps plus 5 learning steps. They're now 10 steps ahead of you. And the perfectionist is still stood there waiting for the wind to be blowing the right direction, the house to be the perfect house number, the door to be the right colour. They got out of bed on the right morning, right? What? You have to step out. We have to be willing to make mistakes. You didn't learn how to walk by being a perfectionist and going, I'm not starting until I can walk. You'd have never walked or swam or ridden a bike. But as a child, you forgave yourself all the mistakes and you learned from them. As an adult, we think we have to be perfect all the time. And it's the biggest killer of your progression. It's the biggest killer, right? So I'm asking you, my friends, they started with making decisions to make more decisions. Make more decisions. Brilliant people, and by brilliant, my definition of brilliant is people living at the top of their game in this example. Whether they've got a brilliant intimate other relationship, whether they've got a brilliant peer group, whether they're brilliant in business, whatever it is, right? They don't have less decisions to make, they make more decisions, more quickly. They get themselves in trouble quicker and they get themselves out quicker, but they also move forward positively quicker. And you just need to get good. How do you get good at making decisions? You just make more of them and you build the muscle. These days you can show me a portfolio of 20 properties and in 10 minutes I'll make a decision whether I want to buy it or not. That used to take me 20 days, right? Now it takes me 20 minutes, right? 10 minutes, right? Why? Because I've built the muscle. I've got good at making decisions and I'm willing to back them. And if they go wrong, I put them right. And if they don't, they've gone right anyway. Does this make some sense by show of hands, right? So you've got to get off the fence. If you get off the wrong side, you climb back to the right side. At least you got off the wrong side and found out. The person sat on the fence is still sat there with splinters, right? But you get off the right side and the magic happens. You've got to make decisions, right? You've got to get your money in the game. If you've got money, you've got to refinance and get that in the game. If you've got equity, you've got to go raise money from other people if that's what you're going to do, right? If you want to get financially free, my friends, there is something called what I call the 3x4 plan. So let's explore this now. The 3x4 plan, okay? So what do I mean by the 3x4 plan? Okay, so here's what I mean, right? You are permanently, in my opinion, trying to close this gap, right? Here is you at the start on the bottom left-hand corner, right? And let's assume that bottom line that leads to good is you. That's you living your life right now, right? You're action takers. You've given up your weekend to learn, to develop, to progress yourself. I have no doubt you're getting some good results in life, in certain areas of your life, maybe all areas, right? You're on the track for good, right? And you're getting good results, right? But what I've been talking about in the last 10 minutes is your potential, like the dream you, the you were born to be, in my opinion, right? And there on the right-hand side, my friend, you've got the gap. you got the gap, right, between where you may end up comfortable and the potential that you've got. And I'm all about closing the gap. Now, here's the challenge. If you wait 10 years and then suddenly try and close the gap's massive. In that image, that yellow line, that's a massive gap. But how do you really close a massive gap? You just make little marginal gains. Little marginal gains. Little marginal gains. And before you know it, those little marginal gains become a massive gap that you have created in your life for the better, right? But it's only little steps. You don't have to reinvent the wheel overnight. You just have to start making decisions and making steps, okay? So how, in my opinion, do you do that? Right, the first bit, the 3, if I want to get brilliant at anything, it might be being a hockey coach for my daughter's hockey team, right? It might be riding jet skis and I want to get brilliant at that, right? It might be paddle, which I've been playing now for a little while, right? So, but not that long, right? Whatever I want to get brilliant at, right? Whatever I want to get brilliant at, there's a 3. The 3 of the 3x4 plan works on everything. You want to be good at knitting or crochet, it's the 3. The 3 for me is training, support and accountability, right? Training, support and accountability. And people miss pieces of the jigsaw. People go, I need to get some training, but then they don't get support and accountability and they don't get the outcome. Or people go, I need accountability, I need someone to hold me to account, which we all, by the way, we all know accountability works, don't we? If you go to the gym and you've got a personal trainer, more likely to show up, more likely to work harder. If you don't have a personal trainer, it doesn't happen. Often doesn't happen. I mean, it's dead simple, isn't it? It's real simple. Accountability works. You know that logically, right? We all need support. We all hit bumps in the road, don't we? We all fall over. We all make mistakes and fall over. And when we've got support and an amazing peer group, they pick you up, they drive you forward, don't they? Right? You know, when an England national team go to war, right, to win the World Cup or the European, right, they're a unit out there. They're supporting each other, they're a unit, and if they're not, it immediately falls apart. It's the same in business for you. If you're in business and on your own, it's a very lonely journey. But if you have a team around you and you all support each other brilliantly, work's dead easy. Work's dead easy when you've got support, right? So for me, if I want to get great at something, I get in place the right training, the right support, and the right accountability. I want to make sure all 3 are at the table. And if we're in the property world, I don't care where you get it from. You might get it from someone else, right? You might get it from another trainer, you might get it from me, but I would urge you, if you want success, if you have the right training, the right support and the right accountability, you are far more likely to get the outcome than doing it on your own. You would not climb Everest on your own without some training, some support and accountability. You didn't become great at your career. Whatever your career is, my friends, whether you're a great marketeer or a great accountant or a great solicitor or a great nurse, you got trained, you got support in that training from peer group, and you had accountability. True or true by show of thumbs? True or true by show of thumbs, right? And then people go, oh, but it's only buying houses. I bought a couple of residential houses, so I know what to do. I'll do it without any help. I mean, logically, do you see how mad that is? Do you see how mad that is, right? And you're after the outcome, right? Get after the outcome of getting financially free. This isn't a small outcome. This is like a world-changing for you outcome, right? So get the 3 in place, but do that for whatever you want to get good at. I want to be a world-class husband, right? To be a world-class husband, I need training, support, and accountability. I make sure I put myself around other world-class husbands. Why? Because they hold me to a higher standard. They hold me to account. I make sure my wife knows what I'm committing to. She scores me out of 10. Every couple of months, I ask her, rate me out of 10, and if I'm not a 10, what can I do to improve it? Right? And then if I don't know what I'm doing, which often I don't, I'm like, can you train me in that? And she trains me. She goes, do I have to train you? I go, yeah, I'm a bit of a stupid man. Can you just train me? Right? But now I'm getting training, I'm getting support from peer group, I'm getting held to account. And guess what? My relationship gets better and better and better. And by the way, I think I'm already a pretty awesome husband, but it gets better and better and better. Right? You've got whatever you want to be great at, training, support, accountability. Does this make sense by way of that, my friends? Right? So let's be property specific. Let's be property specific. What is your 4? What is your 4 that you need to be in place, because the 4 is a property specific piece. So I want to talk to you about it, right? If you want to be on, right, 50 grand a year, if you want to be on 50 grand a year, by the way, any of you can do that. I know that because I guarantee anyone that joins VIP that they get the outcome. Anyone that joins me, I guarantee in black and white they get the outcome, or I give them all the money back. That's how I know it's doable, whatever your start point is, because no one's ever claimed on a guarantee. Now, if you can get to 50 grand a year in 2 years, right, we touched on this, then which deal is the hardest, the first, the 5th, or the 10th? Show me with your fingers, first, 5th, or 10th? First, right? Second a bit easier, third a bit easier, etc., right? So therefore, which 50,000 per year is the hardest, the first, the 5th, or the 10th? Show me with your fingers, the first. So that's when you need the most help to get to the first 50 grand a year, right? Because it's the hardest. But once you've done it, you can repeat it. And now you're on 100 grand a year, then you're on 150 grand a year, then you're on 200, and all you're doing is repeating. So if I can get you to 50 grand a year in 2 years, that means in 4 years, it'll be easier in the second 2 years, you can be on 100 grand a year. Because you just repeat the same 2 years again. And then you can be on 150 grand a year after 6 years. And some of you, as we touched on earlier, your brain's switching off now. You're going, oh, surely, but not me, or this is in the way, that's in the way. No, the logic says, if the first deal's the hardest, the first 50 grand's the hardest, years 3 and 4 will be easier. Years 5 and 6 will be easier. That's the value of this, of getting to the first 50 grand. So to do that, there are 4 things that you must master, right? 4 things that you must master, okay, to get financially free in property. So what are your 4 things? The first of your 4 things, I'm going to put them all up on the screen, but I'll just walk you through them, right? The first of the 4 things is to choose the right strategy for you and marry it, baby. Right? Is it buy-to-lets that will get you financially free? Is it HMOs? Is it a large multi-generational holidays? Is it service accommodation? Is it rent to? Is it options like we're buying 100 for 6 grand each, you'll buy 10 for 6 grand each? What is it that's going to get you financially free? Choose the strategy and become flipping genius at it. You have got it in your locker. You have got the ability when you choose and get on it. That's how you got great at your career. That's how you got great at whatever you're great at. Or if you're a great mum or a great dad, you got great by choosing to be great at it and then getting good at it, marrying it, getting focused on it. So let's do the same in property instead of doing this dance around lots of different topics, right? Once you've got great at it, by the way, getting great at it, we've covered it. We've covered the Safe Secure Portfolio Plan. Yesterday, second session, we covered the simple selection system. We went through the strategies that most consistently make people the most money. We covered it, right? Once you've chosen the strategy, once and only once you've chosen the strategy, now we can commit to finding the deals and finding the money, right? Getting serious about finding the deals for that strategy. So many of you right now going on Rightmove, on a night, it's your guilty pleasure, flicking through the flipping screens. I'm saying this with love, right? You know who you are, right? And you don't even know which area you should be buying in, what the rules are, what the analyzers are, which areas work, which areas don't. I'm saying this with love, right? Get that bit right first, and then stop wasting time and just look in the right areas. That's even better. Have a Rightmove alert set up, so it just messages you when a deal that you would like becomes available. How cool would that be, right? Then you can have a look for fun, but you're just doing it for fun. Right now you're doing it and it's just wasting time, right? But you need to learn how to find the deals and how to find the money. And which order you're doing, you do them both at the same time. Always be looking for money, always be looking for deals. Why? I guarantee you, if you suddenly raise £200,000, you'll go find a deal. And if you suddenly find an amazing deal, you'll go find the money. But always be doing those. So step 1 is to choose the right strategy and marry it. Step 2 is to find the deals. And step 2 is to find the money. We've already spoken about it, right? We've already spoken about this and covered some of this off, okay? How do you find the deals, right? There's so many ways to find the deals, but it depends on your strategy. I can't teach you how to find the deals unless we get clear on your strategy. But I do know that my team are looking at over 100 million of property every month, and I mean, I've never even worked out how many billions of property my members are looking at. You know, my clients are looking at, right? So I'm not going to deep dive it now, but I thought I'd throw it up here. Here's the property identity we throw on Facebook. right? Take a photo of it, right? Or a quick screen grab. Adam, I don't know if you've got time to type it in the chat. You probably haven't. So sorry to spring you that on you, team. So team, I don't know if you have time to do that in the chat. But here is, right, a property deal finder. And I'm not going to tell you the backstory, but that has been our top performer for finding deals for 10 years. We have loads of performers, by the way. Loads of performers, lots of different, 13 different strategies, right? At VIP level, there's 80 videos on sourcing deals and all the documents and the phone scripts and the email scripts to put your offers in, have them accepted, everything else, right? So, but that we put out on social media, Facebook, in property groups, and it finds us deals. Of course, you check. You wouldn't say you were Aran. You change your name, right, and you change your strategy to whatever your strategy is. And you might say you're looking to buy 10 plus properties, not 200 plus. And you might say 15% discount, not 20, right? But you put that out. You put that out there, and you find these deals, right? You find these deals. Here's another example. Here's another example of somebody who's trying to find a service accommodation deals. Yeah, so John is saying, specialising in service accommodation in Leeds, got the experience and time to turn buy-to-let properties into properties that make £1,000 a month. I'm looking for landlords who'd like to get better returns on their buy-to-lets. Me. Right, if you live in Leeds and you've got a buy-to-let, you put your hand up. If you don't, you might know someone else that does. And you go, oh, not me, but them. Right, or you might go, no, I don't know anyone, and they can move on to the next person. John can move on to the next person. Right? And then you've got Paula, right? This is Paula looking for money. Hi, my name's Paula. I specialise in building investors' large portfolios in Manchester. If I'm interested in Manchester and a large portfolio, I'll listen. If not, I'll say not me. I've got the experience and time to source world-class properties. I'm looking for investors with 250k plus. Always ask for more. Ask for more. They can offer you less, but now they're asking you a favour. Don't ask for less. Ask for more. Would like a portfolio, superb return on investment. Do you know anyone like that? Right? So we've got to be choosing the right strategy. We've got to be finding the deals, and we've got to be finding the money. Okay? Does this make sense, my friends, by show of hands? Right? The final bit of this jigsaw, we've talked a lot about finding the money, is about taking consistent action. That fourth part is the bit that is letting a lot of you down. And I mean this with love, but you're just not being consistent enough. You're not doing 3 hours every single week or 5 hours every single week, right? If you want to build, you know you have to go every week. When you commit to go and you make it happen, the muscle comes, right? You don't get fit and healthy doing it for a week as a blitz and then nothing for 3 or 4 weeks and then a week as a blitz. Does this make some sense by show of hands, team? We've got to be consistent in our approach. Get it in the diary. If this is important to you, get it in your diary. By the way, if your intimate other is important to you, when's the last time they were in the diary every single week? Get that in the diary. You spend some time together, right? Or if your kids are important, when's the last time you just put time in the diary for your kids, like quality, protected time? I don't mean just moving them around to their clubs. I mean, that's our date time. Whatever you put in the diary will become true. How well do you protect the diary? How well do you manage your time? It's all stuff we can work on together to create consistency, to create an outcome, to get you to where you want to be. Okay. Has this session been useful so far by show of two hands, team? Fantastic. Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you for your energy. Listen, we've got about 20 minutes left. When we come back this afternoon, we're going to totally get into being tax efficient, so income tax, capital gains tax, inheritance tax. I'm going to teach you how to get a portfolio of 2 or 3 properties. How the heck do you get from there to bursting through to 7, 8, 9, 10, to getting fully financially free? We're going to be working on that and some numbers, and I'll show you some examples and lots more ground to cover, But what I'd like to do, I want to really, I'm hoping you're feeling ignited. I'm hoping you're understanding how important it is to commit to this if you're serious about it, right? And I want to make a proposal to you, right? And my proposal is that we work together to get this done. That we work together and we get this done, right? And I'm going to invite you to join me on VIP. On my VIP training program, I'm going to guarantee you'll be on another 50 grand a year on top of whatever you're earning now within 2 years, or I'll give you every penny back. If you want to be on another 250 grand of earnings in the next 5 years, another million in the next 10, we need to do it. Now, we need to do it safely and securely. So I'm going to teach you how to safely build a world-class portfolio on my VIP program, right? I'm going to give you lifetime access to all of my stuff, but that you might want to grab a screenshot of that or a photo of that, etc. Right? I am going to guarantee you that you're on another 50 grand a year, or I'll give you every penny back. I'm going to teach you how to find world-class property discounted deals with ease, raise private finance with ease, take consistent action with ease, step out of your comfort zone to be able to use this new information, build a property power team around you, a support structure, and to focus on one strategy, right? Now, I could sit here now and I could show you so many testimonial slides. I could go, look, here's this person that joined my program at 21 and now at 24 they've got 8 holly lets. You maybe know who I'm talking about, right? And they're on 240 grand a year, blah, 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 blah. Right? I could show you someone else that said they joined my program, they had 30, now they've got 40, and they're kicking on from there. I could say, here's someone that joined my program with 2 service accommodation, they've now got 30. Here's somebody that joined with no money and no investment experience, and now they're on 100 grand a year. I can show you all those slides till the cows come home. My team can show you those slides if you want to see those slides. I'm not going to bore everyone by going through it all. The bottom line is I know what I'm doing. The bottom line is I can get you to the outcome should you choose to partner with me. Should you choose me to be your partner to get this done, we can get this done. I'm deadly serious, right? And I do this for a living, right? Well, I don't do it for a living. My properties give me my living, but I make a good living doing it. But I do it for fun. I do it because I love it. You can probably see, right, that I'm passionate about this, right? So what does this look like? If we choose to work together, and we choose to work together on this journey, what does this look like? Let me tell you what VIP looks like. Right? By the way, you've got in your WhatsApp, right? We've sent you a brochure with this in it. So you can literally go through the brochure, right? But that's not what I'd encourage you to do. Here's why, right? VIP, what's it look like? First of all, 12-month training program, intense, with me, let's get this done. We're going to be together a minimum of 12 days during the year. These are 6 lots of 2-day events, right? We're going to get together and we're going to train together. Now, if you can't make it because you're on holiday or you've committed to the kids or you've got something else that you need to do, right, all the training is recorded. Imagine the value of that. And you get the recordings for life. For life. In fact, when you join the program, I'm going to give you all the backdated recordings as well. So you can even join the program and start watching the recordings before we get to the live training if you want to. You don't need to. Don't overwhelm yourself, right? But we've got 12 days of live training where I will teach you. I'll put the value at 50k, it's a lot more, because I'm going to teach you exactly the steps to follow and work with you so you get to 50 grand a year within the next 2 years. Right? That's worth millions in the long term, right? You get recordings of all that training for life. I'm going to give you all the deal analyzers you need, all the rules you need. I'm going to even set you up in deal analyzer groups with your peer group doing the same strategy as you, so every deal you want to put your money into, you get it checked by the group and then by me before you put your money over the line. That's how that's going to work, right? We're going to support you with fortnightly Q&As with me. If you don't like me, by the way, don't join VIP, right? But we're going to have fortnightly Q&As. We're going to work intimately together, right? It says 18 months there. For 12 months, we're going to work intimately together, right, on those Q&As. So you're doing the online training, you've got live training, right? You've got WhatsApp. You're literally going to be, right, in a WhatsApp group with me. With me. And you can ask me any question you want. What value do you think that will give you, being able to ask me any property question you want whenever you want? And also having the peer group in there of other people that have committed to being the best version of them, right, that are operating in that space. Those people I've mentioned that are already financially free, and the other people all in that WhatsApp group, all asking questions, you seeing my replies to them, my replies to you, and everyone getting better, stronger, fitter, faster, right? That is, my friends, VIP. That is what I am offering you, should you like to take it up. And the peer group, by the way, are mind-blowing, they are priceless. It says there, when you total all that together, it's worth £73,000, right? And I'm guaranteeing you 50 grand of cash flow in the next 2 years, right? You're going to get training on. Take a screenshot if you want of this, right? Building your property plan, sourcing and buying at 25% below, controlling the pay later, holly lets and 40k a year, service accommodation, be your own bank, HMOs, world-class team, financing your portfolio, property tax, and Can you see the list? It's virtually endless. You'll never need another property training in your life. All of that, you'll get training live with me, but I've also got every single one of these. I've got an online product that's between 30 and 80 videos long that covers all of those. So if you're struggling with rent to rent and lease options, you'll go look in there. If you're struggling with refurbishing and managing your property, you'll go look in there. If you want to outsource a lot of this, so VAs do it for you, virtual assistants do it for you, source your deals for you, right? Raise money for you. Right? I don't raise my own money or source my deals. I pay VAs, virtual assistants, $5, $6, $7 an hour. They're over the moon. Where they live, they earn $2 or $3. So they're over the moon and I'm over the moon because they do that work. I teach you how to do that, right? All of that training is part of this package. Now, I've told you the investment in VIP is 20K normally, but I want to thank you for being here. So here's how this looks, right? Look at the left-hand column. If you join me on VIP and you make the decision to do that today, here's what I'm going to do. If there's just you on your own, right, it's 11K plus VAT. That's nearly a £7,000 discount from a 20K value point. Just £11,000 plus VAT, and it's tax deductible, right? If there's two of you, you and a plus one, it can't be a random stranger you've met here, but you and your business partner or you and your intimate other, right? Then I can't give the second place for free, but I can give you the second place with a 75% discount. So that would be 13,750 plus VAT for the plus one, right? And there you can see the ticks of everything you've got. Don't worry about the middle and the end column. You don't need that, right? You can pay 100K to me for one-to-one coaching if you want. I only do that with a couple of clients a year because I don't want to spend more time than that doing it. And if you want to speak to the team and do that, you can, but you don't need that. I always say to people, you don't need the one-to-one. VIP will get you there. VIP will get you, I'm guaranteeing it, so it's got to get you there, right? So you don't need the elite, you don't need the one-to-one, it's VIP that you want to be looking at, right? I want to sweeten the deal. There's two big things I'm going to do to sweeten the deal. Does this make sense so far, just by show of two hands, team? Just so I know this is making sense. Can I just see two hands? Making sense, great, right? I want to make this a total no-brainer for you. By the way, team, can we put the link in the chat? To grab a space, you want to be going to www.theinsightgroup.co.uk/VIP. www.theinsightgroup.co.uk/VIP, right? Here's why. What I'm going to do, I love it when people take action, because if I'm working with an action taker, I know we can get this done, right? So here's what we're going to do. If you decide this is for you, I'm not going to just give you everything that I've just said. I'm also going to give you what's on the screen now as a bonuses. For the first 10 people that book a call, for the first 10 people that book a call, right, the first thing I'm going to give you is 600 hours of online learning for life, all the property learning you ever need. I'm also going to give you lifetime access. What does that mean? Whenever I update that training, whether you're still in the family, still within the year with me, or if you've left, you'll get an email saying Aaron's updated the training. 4 years from now, you'll still be getting updates. You're part of the family for life. As long as I'm alive and still training, I'll keep updating the online stuff, and you get lifetime updates, because you know things change, right? For the first 6 of you that book a call, and decide to join me on VIP, I want to explode your life, right? I'm going to invite you for the first 6 to come to the retreat with me. Do you remember me saying at the beginning of this session, people were asking me about the retreat? I'm going to invite you, if you're in the first 6, to come and spend time with me intimately and personally, to spend time with Frank, my JV partner in this area, and we'll work on for 3 days on your intimate space, we'll work on your planning, we'll work on structuring you for the year ahead. I think it's sometime in May or June this coming year. We don't have exact dates yet. If you can't make that year, we'll invite you to the next year. But that is normally £5,000 plus VAT, and we're going to let you come to that included in the investment. You can come to the retreat that we've got, okay? So I'm putting all of this together to try and make it a no-brainer for you, okay? So you're getting all of the stuff that I put on the first slide, but let me just show you everything on that second slide again. You're getting 600 hours online learning, lifetime access. The first 6 of you that book a call, right, the first 6 of you, I'll also, and then go ahead on VIP, I'll also give you the retreat. I'm also going to give you 4 extra bonus events. What do you mean, Aaron? As well as the 12 days with me, as well as the retreat, I'll bring in guest speakers that are my mentors in life. People that are my mentors in life will come and do 4 separate 3-day events for my VIP members. I do it every year. I bring in, my VIP members want to know more about a certain topic. It might be, some of them are business owners and they want to be better at running business. I'll bring in my business mentors that help me add 7 figures to my bottom line in business year after year after year, right? Or they might want my property mentors who have led me. I mean, I know I'm a property mentor, but who else has led me? And I've maybe overtaken some of these mentors, but they're brilliant at a certain thing that it's not my spec, and I bring them in, right? Or it might be a mindset coach, I bring them in, right? So I'm going to give you that as well. You don't have to attend any of the retreat and the bonus events to get the outcome, by the way, the guaranteed outcome, but they're just bonuses and extras because I love my community and I look after them, right? I'm then going to give you bi-monthly, so every 2 months, accountability and check-in sessions with a coach that coaches me personally. She's genius in this space. She gets the group together and we work on the blockers and what's getting in the way, that thermometer that I was talking about, that financial thermometer, 20-degree programming, and she blows that apart with you, okay? This is priceless. This is priceless. All you need to do if you want to go ahead, right, you need to click www.theinsightgroup.co.uk/VIP, okay? And when you get there, here's what you're going to do. I want to make this an absolute no-brainer for you, really, really simple, right? So what you're going to do when you get there, okay, there's the retreat that I offered you. What you're going to do when you get there, right, you're going to book a call. What do I mean by book a call? Right, do you remember I mentioned to you earlier on today, I mentioned in my peer group was someone called Richard, okay? You'll either book a call with Richard or with Devon, okay? Both Richard and Devon are genius in this space. You're going to pay £500 to book a call, just £500 refundable deposit. Underline that. Team, can we underline that in the chat? £500 refundable deposit. You'll put a £500 refundable deposit down and we'll book you a call with Richard or Devon, right? Whoever's available this coming week. They've got really tight slots. These are busy people, right? There's Devon. Devon works with my one-to-one clients who pay over 50k, 100k for my services. He works with all my VIP clients. He's been intensely trained on all my material to help coach people, supported our clients by over £200 million of property and counting. He's going to have a call with you. He's going to look at where you are now, where you want to get to, how to bridge that gap, and we're going to make sure that within that work that we do of bridging that gap, right, that he looks at VIP and whether VIP is right for you, right? If it's not right for you and we can't get you to the outcome, very rare, he's going to give you the £500 back and he's going to go away. If it's not right for you and you decide you don't want to go ahead, you say, thanks for talking to me, Devon, but VIP is not for me after all. Can I have my £500 back? You can have it back. But provided it is right for you, it's a deposit and we'll knock it off your investment in VIP. You just need to go to that link, right? The first 10 that go to that link and book that call, you'll then decide over the coming week whether you're going to do VIP or not. But if you go ahead and do VIP, I'll give you all those extra bonuses, and will also get, that go ahead with VIP, will also get to come to my retreat and spend that time with me at the retreat, which is normally £5,000 plus VAT, right? Your partner can come with a 75% discount, and it's all tax deductible. It's all tax deductible, okay? So I hope that makes sense, right? This is all I've got. There's nothing, right? I want you to get the outcome, and I want you to join me on VIP so we can work together to get you this outcome. And all you need to do, if you want to get this outcome, you need to go to that link that the team have put in the chat, right? And then we're going to deliver to you. We're going to deliver to you, okay? My team are going to send out on WhatsApp to you the slides that I've just shown you, the 3 key slides, right? With all the promises on, so you've got them in writing. Okay, you can also ask the team to send them to you directly, and they can send them to you directly. But this is what I've got for you. This is what I've got for you. I know I can get you to the outcome, right? I know it's a step. I know it might be outside your comfort zone, right? but that's where the magic happens. And if I don't get you to the outcome, it's never happened for me with someone where they've come and asked for this. But if I don't get you to the outcome, all you have to do is say, Aaron, all I want from you is 5 hours a week, by the way. You don't have to give me 50 hours, 20 hours. If you've got more time, we'll get there even quicker. But as long as you can give me 5 hours a week consistently, if you can give me less, it might take 3 years. But if you can give me 5 hours a week consistently, if you're not there in 2 years, we'll give you every penny back. I've never had anyone ask for that. All right, go look on Trustpilot. Look at the Insight Group on Trustpilot. You'll see raving reviews from all my clients. They'd soon not rave if I didn't deliver. Right? I can do it for you. I can do it with you. But let's make it risk-free. £500 refundable deposit is the only decision. Remember I said decisions that I'm asking you to make right now. Book a call, have that conversation, and then we'll take it from there. So you can either go book a call straight away, or you can type in the chat. Just to finish this off, type in the chat VIP strategy, and the team will give you a call over the lunch break just to answer any questions you've got before you commit and book the call. So feel free to type in the chat VIP strategy, and the team will call you over the lunch break to check in with you and answer any questions you've got, and then they'll get you booked on a call if that's what you want to do. Okay, so either just go book a call straight away, make sure you're in this first 10, or type VIP strategy. That will reserve your place in the queue. If you type that in, we'll note it down, it will reserve your place in the queue to get those bonuses, and the team will give you a call over the lunch break. Okay, VIP strategy. Okay, thank you, team. Thank you for letting me go through that. All make sense by a big strong show of hands? Right, good. I'm excited to work with you. I'm excited to work with people on BMA. I'm excited to work with those of you that are going to join me at this higher level VIP. We're going to explode it, get it done. And I'm excited to work with you this afternoon. So I'm going to leave you to go get that sorted on VIP, okay? I currently make it just a little before 1:30. So here's what I'm going to suggest, if it's okay with you. If you've enjoyed this morning so far, raise your hand, say aye. Need to see your mouth open, aye. Okay, thank you, brilliant. Here's what we're going to do then. I want to make sure we sweat this afternoon. So we're going to come back together at 2:20. 2:20 this afternoon, 2:20. It will run us through till roughly about 4:15, 4:20. Plan on 4:30, like I said, but probably it'll run us through till 4:15, 4:20, and then we will and then we're going to get stuck in this afternoon, like I've said, into the other content that I've promised you. If you've enjoyed the day and a half so far, there's loads more still to come, so make sure you're there for that. And we're right back into content for the rest of the afternoon. I've nothing else to offer you here, okay? But in the meantime, go click on that link, book that call, that strategy call to get clear and to work out the VIPs for you, or type VIP strategy into the chat, and the team will give you a call over the lunch break and just answer all and any of your questions. But they'll reserve you a slot. As long as you've typed that into the chat, they will reserve you a slot, okay? So I invite you to go into lunch with a load of energy. I invite you to join me on this journey. I cannot wait to get you to the outcome. And I definitely invite you to be back here at 2:20, pumped and full of energy. Don't log off, because you're going to have to log all the way back in, but go get a break, get some fresh air, move around, and get signed up for VIP. I'll see you back here at 2:20, team. I'll see you soon. Thank you. I'll see you soon, team. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Back here, 2020. By the way, I'm just going to play a little video for you. Those of you interested in VIP. If you're not, don't worry. You don't need to listen to the video. But those of you interested in VIP, I'll just show you a little video, 3-minute video of what some people have to say about it. Enjoy the break. I'll see you back here at 2:20. 2:20. See you shortly. Let's get the sound on as well. There you go.
I've found my education with Aran absolutely excellent. It's been fun, it's been pitched at the right level, it's been intense, it's been tiring, but really beneficial. What would you say?
Very informative, very exciting, and very transformational. I think he gives you a lot more than you expect. It's not just about property, it's about your mind, and I think you'll find it will transform how you think and how you move forward.
Mind-blowing. I have learned so much. I thought I knew a lot, but I realised I knew nothing until I attended this course. It's been absolutely transformational.
It's been challenging, it's been exciting, it's definitely been full on, and yeah, it's definitely taken us to a new mindset without a doubt.
From what we've learnt, I would optimistically say 2 years from now we should definitely be earning the 50,000 in passive income that Aran's promised. Just already from the first 4 days, I can see the strategies can bring us that.
I say 80,000.
2 years from now, I think I'll be earning, in fact, I know I'll be earning £500,000.
2 years from now, I'm absolutely confident as a minimum I'll be earning £50,000 a year through passive income from property, without a doubt.
2 years from now would be £80,000.
For me, yeah, in 2 years from now, I'm going to better that. I need to be earning over £100,000 because I need to be doing something different with my life.
I think we'll be earning about £120,000 a year.
200,000 per annum.
200 to 250.
500,000 a year from what we've learned from Aran.
I would say to someone thinking of getting trained with Aran is don't think about it, just do it. Just do it. It is the best investment you can make. The return is infinite.
If you think you deserve to be doing something different, you want to be doing something different, then you have got to make that shift. You have got to take the nothing ventured, nothing gained, and you need to learn from the best if you're going to do it.
A year ago, I didn't even know who Aran Curry was, and within a 3-month period, I'm actually completing on a house, and I'm looking at my fourth property, and I've not even completed half of my VIP course yet.
I would say just jump in, don't hesitate, because you get in life what you give, and if you put yourself in that situation, you'll get out of it. It's brilliant,
It's
isn't it?
no-brainer, so
Yeah.
it's wonderful. Recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, and also I would just add that a lot of these trainings are full of hype and unrealistic expectations, whereas I think what Aran teaches, it is realistic. He doesn't hype it. He gives you the bad side as well as the good side, so it's believable. That's why I feel so positive about the future.
I suppose as long as put the time into it and then do it, take action, so it all works.
Ah.
Okay, team, go grab that link. By the way, if you want to see the outcomes for those people, because they were recorded a while back, financially free, right? You can speak to the team, they can show the outcomes, they can let you know where people got to, and just go on Trustpilot. Go on Trustpilot, look for the Insight group, you'll see the reviews. So either type VIP strategy into the chat, and one of the team will give you a call over the lunch break. Make sure you answer the phone, and we'll hold those places for you, those first 10 spaces with all the extra bonuses. Or just go straight to the link and book it. All you're committing to right now is £500 refundable deposit to have a conversation about VIP. And if at the end of that you want your money back, that's cool. And if at the end of that you go ahead with VIP, can't wait to work with you and get this done. Okay? Enjoy the lunch break. I'll see you back here at 2:20, team. 2:20. Thank you. I'll see you shortly. Thank you.